Today is Thursday, January the 27th of 2022. And I tell you what time it is boom time.
Are you ready? Call your mama, call your papa, call your friends. The festivities are about to begin. Boom!
Hello, Darnex, my old friend. There was all kinds of silence in there. Sorry, I messed up the setup in the beginning right there. But how about now? Well, we are here and we are live. I don't know why I got all kinds of jackets and sweatshirts because it's really not that cold today. But I am afraid that if I don't protect myself, I might get sick. So you know what? I'd rather keep myself protected. I've been using like two sweatshirts the last few days. Today is nice. It's the best. It's one of the nicest days in Florida that I've seen in the past whole past week. Well, we are. Have you guys noticed that since I started this new channel, I stopped doing the intro that I used to do in my previous channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Florida. All that kind of shit. I just start rambling like out of nowhere, just ranting and rambling. Damn it, my ashtray is full. I gotta empty it. So unprofessional, Jose. So unprofessional. That was so unnecessary and professional, Jose. Come on. You had 2 minutes. 2 minutes before the scheduled time. You couldn't take the 2 minutes, look around you, make sure that you got your drink on, that the squeaky earth sounds good. Oh, it sounds actually beautiful today. Sounds beautiful. Excellence all the way. And get your cigarette ready. Don't be your coughing or none of that shit, So this is beautiful. Now, now I do my. This is the intro I need. I please ask everybody to thumbs up this video and to please support if you can, and I hope you can. There is a PayPal link pinned in the top of the chat box and also in the description box. To everybody on YouTube chat, welcome. You are all blue in this chat box. Well, hi, Rakia. If you show up, you're not blue, but you deserve that. If you are on a PC or a laptop, you can click on the three dots in the right-hand side of the names on the YouTube chat. So you see a name, a comment, you say like, this comment is interesting. Does this guy have any content in his channel? Does he have a YouTube channel like working and with videos? You can click on the dots, go to their channel and subscribe to each other, support that way. I want to say hello and thank you for being here to Patio Furniture, RT96, Tusk, Anamorphic Mind, Kuso, Fred Bailey, Dora Unku, John Watson. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for being part of the big 500 that we accomplished yesterday. Yesterday's show, the almost 500 subscriber special. I started with 498, and we are today, right now, less than 24 hours after, at 536. That is 38 subscribers earned, hustling in the past less than 24 hours. Merci, guys. Thank you so much for being big supporters of the channel. I think the 1,000 subscribers by March 15, when it's big Jose's 47. I think we might be able to do that. So thank you. And the way that we can achieve that accomplishment, we can achieve that goal, is to share the show and tell everybody that this is a place that we can come in and hang out and stay out of trouble. Uh, we don't have to go personally to argue and talk to people and get pissed off and troll in people's faces because they can punch you and kick you in the mouth or something. Over here, it's a lot easier. So over here, we can troll responsibly and do all that good stuff. Big shout out to, I see that also Anamorphic Mind showed up, Blue Marble Science, and Stark Otter. Stark Otter. Hello, are you new? Well, welcome to the show. We are in the Discord server, the Daily Boom. Yes, I am over here looking at you on screen via Google Meets, but that's just for my little corner and presentation. But everybody else, we can do the Discord server, the Daily Boom, which we already have Brian Mabbit and Steve Rodino there. Let's see what they have to say. And in order to do that, I must unmute them. Unmute them over here. So let's do it.
Well, hello.
Oh, yeah. What's going on? What's going on? Check 1 2, check 1 2. Joe Mongoose is first. How's everybody doing today over here? Whoa, easy, one at a time. One at a time. I hope we can be heard. Oh, wait. You guys couldn't really hear me? That's why they don't. But Dude, I was speaking over here through. Hmm. Anybody hear me on Discord? I'm pretty sure that you guys hear me now on YouTube, but on Discord. Check one, two. Check. Yeah, you hear me now, but no sound on. Oh, I'm such an ass. I figured it out. Yeah, I figured it out. That was the best speech I have ever gave. Thank you very much. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna.
I
I
don't
don't
hear you in
remember what I just
Discord.
said, but I am gonna grab that
Yeah, you hear me now,
screen
but
recording
no
of that
sound.
I just say, and I'm gonna add
Oh,
audio to it. I'm
I'm
gonna
so
add
shit.
a layer of audio. So let's see how it's gonna work out. I'm gonna do that today later. Thank you. And now I'm gonna be heard because I wasn't. Oh my god, I was so shit down, man. Let's do it. How are you gonna hear me if I am not in the call? What the fuck, man? Shit. What the shit, man? Yeah, I just debunked everything. I debunked flat earth, I debunked the globe, I debunked science, I debunked life, and I was muted for YouTube. Fucking shame. Everybody. Now you guys should be able to hear me. Let's do a squeaky earth to see if that's true. Yay! That was beautiful. And you guys waited. You guys actually, you're such an assholes, people watching. You guys waiting for like 2 minutes of me blabbing, and you guys were just like, oh my god, Jose is just doing this muted thing again. And you guys didn't tell me to say, all right, 2 minutes is enough. Let's tell him that he's muted now. Motherfuckers. Messed up. So fucked up. You don't play with people's words like that, man. Come on. Did my I don't know what's wrong with my laptop for the past 2 days. It is super slow on loading. I mean, my internet signal is strong. I am wired. I'm plugged in, but I only have Discord and a web browsers here. Google web browser. I used to have all kinds of apps open, and that didn't happen. I'm not sure since the last update that I did. It's been dragging, bro, and it just pisses me off. So I want to share screen, I want to share videos and all this stuff, but it's not helping me, man. This lagging in the computer now. I might be a RAM memory what I need. Only this one has 8 gigs of RAM in the computer laptop, and there should be an empty slot, and I should add another 8 RAM. And the actual, just regular memory for storage is small. It's like 150, but I only have half used, like 70 used. So it's not that. It's just the RAM memory. The apps running in the background or some. Gotta figure it out. What's up, guys? But you guys heard me when I say the in YouTube when I say hit the like and give me money, right? Via PayPal. I think you guys heard it. Very important. You know that was muted. Just moving my mouth. I debunked everything. You were just unable to hear it. Sorry. Not my fault that I'm the smartest guy in the planet. I have, yes, Steve. I did a cleaning on the hard drive and cache and all that shit. and I open the task manager to see what is running, it's a bunch of like background system stuff running, but no extra apps open. Very, very strange. We might have a special guest later. He's gonna do some kind of presentation. Sorry, I got the I got the Brian's logic frog in my throat. I hate that. See us for getting. I get excited and I start. I start doing that. So anybody, look at that. The stingray, steep rodino, mush mushrooms are here, but they're deaf and unmuted. They don't want it. They don't want to speak. And then we got Brian Mabbott listening to see what Jose is gonna say, what topic Jose is gonna bring, so he can jump in and debunk me here in real time for everybody. 7.
I'm just finishing my dinner.
Finishing me dinner, he said. How about that? This is a good dinner table topic. The boom time is Brian Mabbett's dinner time most of the time. That's good. The Doc 2102. Tom Walbrand says bad delay. What's up, Tom Walbrand? Are you new? Hello, the Doc 2102. Are you new? Look at that! All kinds of new subscribers coming in. I like that. I appreciate that. Brian's cough get worse the bigger the lie he is telling. So messed up. Triple Crow Cray, what's up? I hope the special guest is Brian Leak. Well, the special guest, if he is coming in, his name is not Brian. How about that? And the special guest name is not Nathan. So there's like 17 Nathans and 24 Brians. It's neither of those characters. Stop, Mr. 42. Howard Moore. I see you, man. Charlie Welch Martin. Tusk. John Mongoose. Sean Hawkins. Nat Flat. I meant to, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna come clean. I meant to be muted in that first introduction, because I had a lot of things to say, but I don't know if you guys would have been able to deal with what I had to say.
So you thought you'd just say it to yourself?
I just thought I just say it out loud, but keep it block the audio for YouTube, so the YouTube audience was able to read my lips but not hear my word.
You'll get this right one day.
Someday I'll get it. So in the beginning, I said like, "Fucking hey, I was muted. I didn't know." No, coming clean. You were just not ready to hear what I had to say. So I just intentionally left myself muted.
Can you hear me?
What's up, man? I hear you.
Yeah, I was getting a bad delay there. I'm also the Tom over there on the other one.
Now, for people watching on YouTube, there might be a delay between the words coming out of my mouth and the video that you're watching of me, because you are hearing the audio via Discord and you are seeing the visual via Google Meets. So you got two platforms sharing the same screen. I am the only one in the Google Meets, so you can see my camera. She works better for me, and then my voice via Discord. So if I gotta share something on my end, like a tab or something, it's easier it's a little cleaner to share my screen via Google Meets for the audience.
And you are seeing the visual via Google.
And
Meets.
not Brian has the watch page open. How about that?
It's all right. I've just had a look at it. It's synced with the sound.
Oh, is it the voice and the video? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I thought somebody said you have a massive delay. Well, I guess.
It was on my side.
I think the delay they're talking about is what I am, like in the chat box versus what they see on YouTube, because there's like a 30 seconds delay. What you're hearing right now, I just say 30 seconds ago. It gives me time to, if anything weird happen, I can run to my PC and shut it down before you guys see or hear what just happened in the previous 30 seconds, A little bit of leverage for me. I've never used that. That was a good feature that YouTube introduced, the delay. Or I think, I don't know, streaming platforms. When back in the day was a lot of porn bombing and, people hijacking with music and stuff like that. So you have time to kind of to mute it before the audience hear it. Good times. Earth is Live is looking to do a one-on-one with Gary.
That is a bit kinky.
Yeah. Sounds a little personal, that right there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to know about that.
Would you like to be in a room just you and Gary, Mr. 42?
No. We don't like each other that much, but I don't
With
hate
no
the
witnesses.
guy I don't hate the guy as well. I don't want to harm him. That's goes too far.
Right. Do a deep clean and remove all traces of Brian Mavitt, and my PC will live in general. We greatly improve, says Tusk. That's a good trolling right there. Damn, that's messed up. Discord people that speak, it helps the performance on the laptop. No, my PC works great. It's what you guys see on YouTube. I just don't sit inside too long to do the stream, directly from there. I use my laptop as a guest, just like everybody else. Yes, Ben the Light. That message is time traveling 30 seconds into the past.
Talking about Gary, since September 1st, they have been trying to set up a debate between him and Dr. Phil Bell, and it still didn't happen. And it's a long time already.
Who is trying to get a debate with Phil Bell?
Gary.
Okay. I hear you. Sorry, guys, if I'm I got a frog in my throat, and that happened in the beginning of the show. And they were actually cleaning the yard. It was dusty and potty, and I don't know, that fucked me up big time. I saw an image that Earth is Live posted earlier, and I think he said it's the dust cloud from the Tonga volcano explosion seen from the ISS. That is a new one, and it is a high quality image, so I am going to share that.
Is that what's in your throat?
You see a shockwave too.
Sorry.
Is
that what's in your throat?
Yeah, this one. I saw that.
Yeah, you seen this image?
Yeah, it was somewhere on Discord. Probably posted by Earth is Live. Yeah.
Right. And yes, as I'm sharing my screen to you guys on Discord, you guys are able to see the Google Meets link, which it doesn't bother me. If you want to try to, I mean, it just doesn't bother me.
Fair enough.
Where is this dust cloud of the Tonga? What is it? All this grayish? All this gray area?
I think so, yeah. I read last week somewhere that it had reached Australia already. So it's really big. Big cloud.
I gotta run and grab my phone. Hold on, it's ringing in the other room.
So we can take over, guys.
Australia is not far from Tonga.
It's still a long swim. I'm not sure how many kilometers it is, or miles, or whatever you want. Freedom units.
But they did record. They had recorded. Thought they just got the 2 waves going back and forth, but they ended up having 4 waves. So some of the guys recorded it going one way, and it came back, and because it was going the opposite ways the first time, it came back around. But it was really weak the second time around, but the third and fourth time around. But all the little machines that doing the barometric pressure or whatever it was doing, they all spiked all at certain times. It was weird.
Okay. I just looked it up. It's about. That's to the center of Australia. It's 5,200 kilometers. But that's to the center of Australia, so that doesn't really count. Well, maybe.
I got a comment to say. Very important, because as I was checking my phone, I got a PayPal notification that Dora Nku has supported with a big $11 PayPal donation. Dora, thank you very much for your support. And she have left a message, intentionally blank. She have left an intentionally blank note.
Gotcha.
I love you, Dora. That was beautiful, man. Well said. Thank you. And I got 33 people watching now. Illuminati confirmed. Thank you very much. It is so slow, the laptop, with just a few people. With just 3 tabs open, it's just so slow. I fucking hate it. So I'm sorry, I missed that. Is this Tonga explosion cloud? Is it all of this grayish area? Am I correct? Or is it something specific like this little something?
What is the last part of the URL? It says atmospheric plume from, and then you can see what it says. It's something, yeah, that part, yeah. So it seems to be the case indeed.
So all of this gray is that? What do you say?
I think so, but I'm sure that Earth Life will be able to confirm or deny that in chat in 30 seconds.
All right. Shout out to Left Bro Lane. He say he's listening in the background, and Flat Earth is bunk. Y'all rough him up.
No.
You know what I see in this picture? Was interesting to me. That I saw it, and I am able to zoom in over here. I'm gonna click and zoom in. It's a very high quality picture. And you see all kinds of stars in the background in this image.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. You see all kinds of stars.
Very faint, but yes.
Yes. And as I scroll to the side, you can see all kinds of stars. For those who got a very bright screen, go into the dark or cover it up, all kinds of stars. Now, is anybody able to locate, any constellation or something of these stars? That's a tricky one. That's a big assignment.
Can you post that URL to the image in the chat so we can click it?
Yes, yep. I'll repost.
That might be a good idea for the viewers.
On this very quality. So it's a very high quality. Now, let me post the image. So
yeah, exactly.
Let me post it over here on the Daily Boom, and I'm gonna also post it on Discord, on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Paste. Yeah. So you just gotta, just open it in a new tab or something. Click on the middle, the scrolling button on the mouse. If you click that one, you push the scrolling button in top of the image, it will open on a tab, on a Google tab. I don't know if you need it. As high quality. Now, if we go lower over here, we can see that, let me go to the left and try to find out. You can see that some stars are merging into the Earth. Unless these white dots, that white dots in the black, in the darkness, they might not be stars because there's a white dot in here, there's a white dot in here, white dot in here, white dot in here, white dot in here. And if you can see it as I'm moving, they look like the same kind of little white dots that are in the sky.
Yeah, it might also be a damaged sensor from radiation. This is possible.
Yeah, there's a big one over here. There's a few over here. And as I move this, you can see, they are part of the image. So I was thinking when I got it this close, I said maybe it's, these dots. I said maybe this is this layer of the atmosphere, right? Like it's bleeding through the background, like because of the spherical air. But how thick will it be? Now, if you say it's the whole atmosphere, it's gotta be this thick all the way to here. Look at this dot right here. That. But if we go to this other end, this is also atmosphere all the way down here. It's like not a definition of the Earth over here anywhere. So if in this corner is this thick, the layer of the atmosphere, because we can see these dots all the way down till here, that means in the right hand side it must be at least this thick, at least like this thick down to here. But there's no definition of the separation of the Earth. I don't know. Maybe I'm ranting, but hopefully somebody understands what I'm trying to say. Also rambling. I never seen when we see an Earth with this type of curvature right here, which is a slight, considerably a light curve, this thick of an atmosphere, this thick like this. What I have seen is, look, oh, wait, they missed a bit. Brian did a little tweak in the image. Let me open that one. Brian, tell us about this image that I'm about to share.
Just lowered the levels and you can see they've, whatever they've overlaid. I don't know, you do it. You're into photoshopping. Just go in, load it into your package and just lower the levels, and there's a corner missing off on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I actually don't have Photoshop. I use the cheap, like Paint 3D on my laptop.
It'll do the same. It'll have the levels in there, won't it?
Nah, it doesn't. It's very cheap, very
That's
basic.
not level.
What site did that come from?
This one, Earth is Life shared it. No, I have no idea.
Okay.
It says Wikipedia. Look, it says upload wikipedia.org, commons, atmospheric plum.
And what do you mean corner missing?
Because I sent you a link to space.com. That the volcano eruption and all the clouds.
Hold on, that's a great point. I'm struggling to see those stars in my monitor because there's all kinds of dust particles because I'm in the outside and it's very bright also, so it's a tricky one for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
But in that corner was a part visible from the ISS. So I'm not sure what you're missing there.
Yeah, I've just zoomed in. It's part of a structure, yeah. So take the notes of that.
Okay, mistakes happen. That's fine.
Yeah.
So what image you posted? Mars mushrooms? This one?
No, I put a link to space.com where they got a whole bunch of images from ash clouds and.
Oh, you're killing me because maybe
Yeah, I know.
Maybe this link will break the internet for me over here.
Hope not.
Okay, astronauts spot ash cloud from Tonga volcano eruption from space photos.
Ooh, it's a bit more fuzzy.
Yeah. Look, what I'm looking is the atmosphere is not thick, like it was shown in the other one. I don't think it was atmosphere, but I need the Earth is Live to come and tell me. This one is going to take a while loading next images. And as I say, it's not the internet. The internet is wired. It's good, but just I don't know. What's going on?
Oh, that's very sharp.
Yes. Image 2 says space.com, really? And image 3, oh, it's because it's still loading, probably. That's image 2. And image 3. There you go. Can I open this image in a new tab? Maybe just the image. It's still loading and buffering. Fucking A.
Wow.
Hate it. I know, I hate it. I'm gonna close this one, which is heavier than the other one. There you go.
Looks like almost the same picture, but upside down.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
Very
it's planet.
But this one is less quality because when I click it, it just zoom in tiny bit.
Yeah.
On the first one that I shared, this one that was from Wikipedia, when I click on it, it just boom, it zooms really close.
Boom.
Brian, what do you think about these images? Talk to me, man. Whenever you want.
Oh, I've just done your trick, rambling and being muted.
He was talking. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, indeed.
I can't really comment because they're taken from a place that can't exist, so I can't pass a comment on. I'm sorry.
They can't exist. We agree.
Was that little voice?
Little voice, love it. We agree that in your reality, do you believe these can't exist? We agree on that.
Yeah.
And yet it does.
No.
All right, guys. I'm gonna do something a little, might sound a little off or odd, but there is a special guest that he gonna want to come and do some kind of a presentation. I don't know if he's gonna share the screen, if he's gonna just speak to us, but I am going to invite him now. I'm gonna ask him via DM. Do you want to join on Discord or do you want to join on Google Meets? You are listening. Yes, you.
Tell me it's not rumpus.
No.
Thank fuck for that.
It is not. So if you want to go into Google Meets, I'll jump in over there with him for a few minutes. But if you want to do it on Discord, he do it over here with us. He can just join us, and then we all, stay back and hang out. Well, he is already here on Discord, and I'm gonna stop screen sharing, and we are gonna welcome Space Pope, aka Chris Matt, aka Babs. I'm gonna go on mute and give you the floor. Space Pope, thank you for coming, brother. What's up?
Hi, Space Pope.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me over once again, Jose.
You bet. You got it.
Now, yeah, this is a different sort of presentation that I'd like to do. It's sort of a question and answer process that I want us to go through before I get into some of the major points that I'd like to make, if that's okay with everybody.
Oh, that's perfect, because if it's interactive, yeah, we got a handful of people over here, and the audience, will try to give you as much space as needed. But if anybody got any feedback, they can participate. Now, do you mind if I keep screen sharing and share maybe a few memes in the background until or unless you got something to share?
Yeah, that's okay. I actually do have something that I want to share, but I'm going to need to just give me 1 sec, and I'll let you know when I'm ready. But what I'm expecting for now is for people to just give me their feedback and hopefully just correct me in places that I might be wrong.
All right.
All right. So just 1 moment, please.
Fill the gap, Jose. Or are you talking muted now?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was talking over here with somebody.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to screen share using my Chris Matt account.
All right.
Can you,
I'm gonna. Yeah, let me stop screen sharing. I got it. You should be able to screen share. Let me get it set up for the YouTube viewing audience.
okay, I'm sharing my screen right now.
Yeah, on Discord it's visible.
You can see me?
It's still looping. It's still loading. Oh, you minimize your application. Sit tight.
I think you
Yeah.
only shared the Discord and you want to probably share something else.
I'm actually looking to share it in Discord, and last time I did this, it was also shared on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
watching your stream, and for me, it's telling me Chris Matt has minimized their application. Sit tight. So it's like waiting on you. I don't know.
All right, hang on 1 sec. Let me try it one more time.
Yeah.
It won't share if it's minimized.
There we go. Oh, that stopped.
So how do I maximize it? I'm on the screen share thing, and all I can do is just change the resolution and the frame rate. How do I make it bigger?
You've got to go to share window. Go to share again.
Okay, hang on.
Go to screen. Share window. Then choose which window.
It's giving me the option to either share the application or my screen. I'm guessing it's the screen share that I should choose, right?
Depends on what you want to share. I'm not sure.
I want to share my entire screen.
Oh, then you can go to screen.
Okay. So I'm going to go live right now. Can you see me now?
Yes, we see it now.
That shouldn't shut down when you
Yeah, we see it now.
So,
excellent.
Let's have a look at your application.
Yeah.
All right, so let's begin with a little bit of a thought experiment. So, can you see the circle on screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that.
Okay, so this circle is going to represent Earth. And that tiny vertical is going to represent a point on Earth that is both vertical and also perpendicular with the surface of the Earth. Okay? So now what I'd like you to think about is, if we were to establish a horizontal line from this particular point here, is there ever going to be a point where this horizontal intersects with the surface of the circle?
No.
That's never going to happen, right?
Correct. It will not happen.
So why is it that some people seem to think that you should see a hump of Earth in front of you if you're observing Earth on a spherical Earth?
Because what they do, they don't calculates to where they see the object, but they calculate to the base of the object, which might be below the horizon. And from there would be a hump. But you will never look at something you cannot see.
Right, but for example, if we're looking over the surface of level water, that would mean that this is a surface of equal elevation. So there wouldn't be any undulations or any points where there would be differences in the elevation. It should all be equal elevation along the surface of that water, right?
Yeah.
So we wouldn't expect to see a hump looking over the body of water, would we?
Yes,
No,
that's
in
correct.
in order for you to see a hump, that line would no longer be horizontal at the point that you've got it. What people do, what's just been said, is they don't use that horizontal, perpendicular from vertical at that point. They move that line down to the base of something that they're looking at the distance. In which case, now relative to that line, you could say that the water diverges up and down, but that's never a hump from the vertical that you've got defined there. It's always just I'm going to slope away from that vertical.
Exactly, which leads me on to this next image here. So this is what you would expect to see on a globe Earth. The horizon would be the furthest point that you can see along the surface of the ground, right? And this line of sight that intersects with a surface is what you would call a tangent line, correct?
Yeah.
And using the same example as before, let's consider two observers or two objects on the surface of the Earth. This is one person at this location, and this is, say, a building at this other location. So if we're looking over a curved surface, everything beyond this point is going to be obstructed by the curvature of the Earth. And anything that is elevated above this point, like a building, for example, we should be able to see the top of it, but the bottom would be obstructed, correct?
If you had a geometric horizon, yeah, but you haven't got one.
With
Right.
yourself,
So unfortunately, this has
Well,
been
No,
blown up.
we do.
Well, we're not gonna
We also have
let's
an
not
apparent
muddy up
horizon.
the presentation just yet.
We don't see the geometric horizon. Who quoted that?
Right. So let me just get I'm looking for a consensus here. So this logically makes sense. This is what you would expect to see if you're on a spherical Earth looking at distant objects being obstructed by a horizon.
But
Correct?
you're not on the top. Wherever you're at, you're going to be at the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Everywhere on the ball is the top of the ball. There's no top or bottom.
Right, but where you've got the little guy is not at the top.
I didn't say that was the top.
Okay.
Yeah, I never said that.
All right.
Right, so this is exactly what we would expect to see looking over a body of water. We shouldn't expect to see humps over the water. What we would expect to see is a horizon obstructing distant object.
Shouldn't we see it falling away from you?
No.
Yeah, you would see it falling away from you because it's on the surface of the Earth.
So very, very just quick point here. You wouldn't see it falling away from you your average altitude. You would see the effect of the surface falling away from you, but you wouldn't be able to look at it and say, hey, look at how much that's falling away from me. The apparentness of the fall is in the effect of things disappearing bottom up.
You would only see the leading edge.
Leading edge of what?
The fall.
That would be a geometric horizon.
You would also
Horizon.
you would also see
Yes,
things
there is a
drop from
geometric
horizon
and
from
there's an apparent
horizontal.
horizon.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Geometric.
I was saying you'd also see
Only
things
in
drop from
mathematics.
horizontal.
Correct.
From vertical is what I mean.
Carry
So
on,
lower
carry on.
Yes.
in a vertical position. Right. So this leads me on to an argument that's gaining a lot of popularity right now. It's a really stupid argument, and I'm just wondering why some people are actually considering this to be something something logical, like a logical type of argument, when it completely defies logic and it isn't congruent with what you'd expect to see on a globe model.
Oh dear, I see the title.
Which leads me on to this next image here. What is the first glaring problem that you notice with this when you look at this?
It's boob Earth.
Well, that's one thing, but what's something else that you notice about this?
You mean that they seem to watch it curving away, which we say it doesn't.
That's cleavature Earth.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but you also notice that both of these two people are oriented in the same direction, which is not what you'd expect to see on a ball.
Yes,
Two
but
people-
if you tilt them back, it'll be more. Isn't it?
How would it be more, Brian?
Well, tilt them back and you'll see the drop is more.
Well, even Brian gets this. Brian gets that if you have two people on the surface of the Earth on different locations, they're going to be oriented differently. But in this image, both of these observers appear to be vertical in the same orientation, and that's not congruent with the ball model.
Is this what they call the paradox?
Yeah,
This is
some
what-
idiots on the internet consider this to be a paradox, but to any logical person with a functioning brain, this is not a paradox. This is a malformed.
This is an argument that QE makes.
It's also an argument that SE Montreal happens to make, and
Yeah.
QE only copied this idea from him.
Right, well, let's just analyze it. Put these two people 20 miles apart, looking at each other over a lake. So they're both seeing halfway across the lake, let's say, 10 miles, and you get 60 feet? 60 feet a drop in 10 miles. So they're both looking over a drop of 60 feet. Now, does the middle of the lake drop 60 feet? That's their argument.
Why would the middle of the lake drop 60 feet?
Well, it doesn't, because we know what we live upon. We know what water
Oh, there
does.
you go.
And water lies flat, and that's why we see what we see.
No, it does not.
Let's
Well,
just
if we
wait.
were
Water is
actually
subject to
did,
the forces acting upon it.
In your slide you've got up now, you can see that the ground is actually higher than their feet, and it has to be in this paradox.
I don't understand what you mean when you say that the ground is higher than their feet.
So turn them so they're sort of 45 degrees, the middle is between them, and you will see the center bit is higher.
Well, that is the point that I was making earlier, Brian. That's the point that I was trying to make earlier, Brian. That if you're looking over the surface of water, that is a surface of equal elevation. So at no point between those two observers is there going to be a hump or an area of uneven elevation. It's all going to be a surface of equal elevation.
The other problem is at 10 miles, you would have a hard time depicting that curve on scale because it's just too.
Well,
too
this
short a drop
diagram
over
is
10
not.
miles.
This diagram is not to scale because these people are not to scale.
That's why people look at it and go, "Oh, there's a hump. There's a hump." Well, if you did that on the full scale, you would not see that.
No, you would not see a hump.
It would be so subtle.
I've got a scale version of this that I can show you after this that I have shown SC Montreal accepted it.
I was gonna say
I have
really
a hard
quick.
time. Go ahead.
Really quick.
Okay.
That I had to step out for a few minutes. I'm back. I'm listening, but remember, guys, this is more of a space pope, kind of presentation. He's got priority mic, but it's good because it's interactive. But space pope, if you think like, oh man, they're not letting me let my point, they're interrupting me too much, just holler and we'll try to bring it down a little bit. It's your
I actually
call.
don't mind the interruptions because this was meant to be interactive. to begin with. I like the
Good.
feedback that I'm getting. So
Yep, beautiful. Yep,
This is
I'm
great.
listening. I'm enjoying. I'm listening. I don't want to participate too much, not to take over, because I can put my flip flop mode on and I'm gonna confuse myself more. So I'll stay quiet and I'll listen to you guys.
Boop.
Right.
That's
So this is
proven.
how SC Montreal views the globe. This is how he thinks the globe model works. He thinks that on a surface of equal elevation over the body of water, because of course we know that on land there's topography, so you're not going to get equal elevation there. So for the purposes of this, let's imagine that this is an Earth covered with water. This is SC Montreal's idea of what the globe model is. You're two observers standing at two different locations, and there is a hump of Earth curve in between you. Is this congruent with what the mainstream model, the mainstream globe model depicts, or is this absolute nonsense?
That's about right.
That's nonsense.
Any logical person with a functioning brain would consider this to be nonsense. That's
Is
right.
this something that Essie ever draw, or is this something you think that he is having in his mind?
Well, this is what is implied when you say that there should be a hump of Earth curve in front of you.
No, I don't agree with that part. What you say now, I think he means something else. What if you go back to image 3 or 4?
What exactly does he mean when he says that there's a hump of Earth curve in between you?
Okay. Can you go back to image 3 or 4? That with the building. I think it was. Yeah, this one. What he is doing is going from the observer on top, making a line to the bottom of the building, and then he says, "Hey, there's the hump," because there's Earth above the line.
Yeah, he actually means a straight
diagram to show what you're talking about. He's actually doing this. This is what Montreal is actually doing, right?
No. What he's actually doing, imagine a line there on the feet of the individuals, connecting the feet of the individuals, intersects the Earth. Therefore, relative to that line, there is a hump. That is his argument.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. I have an even better diagram, I think, that represents what you're referring to. Like this?
Exactly. Yeah, that chord line. Above that is the hump. What he's talking about.
This hump would be considered a sagitta on a spherical model, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sagitta just being the distance between the base of the arc to the top of the arc.
Yeah.
But then the same considerations can still be applied to this, which is this is a surface of equal elevation. So this wouldn't be a hump, meaning that this would be a varying elevation between two observers. No, this is a surface of equal elevation. So you wouldn't see a hump in front of you. The reason that I'm focusing on this is because we need to address these arguments where the misunderstandings begin, like the root of the misunderstanding. I feel like people sort of dive into it and don't address where the problems begin. And I feel like it starts here. When you start isolating what these problems are, we can begin to see why these people think the way they do.
You could model this on a ball and just see if the center section would be higher than glue two little, fag ends or something to a ball. And the bit in the middle will be higher than them. It has to be.
Brian, use a different word. That's only a British slang term.
Cigarette end, sorry. Yeah, I didn't think about it.
So Brian actually thinks, just like SC Montreal, that this is what the globe model looks like this, right?
No, that's... Move your pointer out the way.
Okay, the pointer's out the way.
I just wanted to grab it, that's all.
No, I think you can destroy this image. I have never heard this argument.
I mean, this is what is the definition of a hump. A hump is something that is protruding off of a surface.
Yeah, but that's not what they mean. They talk about something else and call it a hump.
Space
I
Pope.
think you would find that image.
Really, I got a quick comment. M. Stone is giving feedback saying that you are a true intellectual, Space Pope. Shout out to M. Stone.
Thanks, M. Stone. I appreciate your feedback.
I think I think you would find that image is more how SE Montreal views the equatorial bulge than anything else.
That's right. All right, so
Oh, Gary is in the chat proving my point. He says globies live in a hump world. And that's exactly what we're not doing.
Well, this one we got the two boats. I like this one.
right. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's do a process of elimination. We've already eliminated the hump. We know that there is no hump in the globe model. We can get rid of that idea. So whoever's still going to continue pushing that or repeating that concept is someone that doesn't understand how the globe model works. There are no humps on a surface of equal elevation. Now, the paradox is when there are two boats facing each other and they're nose to nose moving away from each other, what would each observer see? And I think my definition or my understanding is this, which is what we began with, that if we're looking at the horizon, this tangent line will intersect with the surface of the sphere at the horizon, and anything beyond this point is going to be obstructed from the bottom up. Similarly, with the boats, if this was one boat here looking at another boat here, the same thing would happen. The boat would appear to be obstructed from the bottom up by the horizon, not by a hump, not by a hump, but by the curvature of the Earth. Does that make sense?
Perfect
Yes.
sense.
Now, this wouldn't make sense if you didn't understand how gravity works. And that's another issue that I'm finding that a lot of people that don't understand how the globe model works struggle with, because they don't understand that vertical lines are radial to a spherical surface. And that's because of the force of gravity. So everything that is perpendicular to the surface of the sphere is going to be pointing towards the center of the sphere. And that is why verticals are not parallel with each other. They are radial to the surface of the Earth. And that is why when we use tools like theodolites or autolevels to establish horizontal lines in three-dimensional space, these horizontals are only local to that specific area. So like in this diagram here, let's say this is a theodolite. We establish a horizontal and three-dimensional space, and this horizontal is an infinite line, meaning that it moves infinitely from forwards to backwards. And it's its own independent horizontal. And if we did the same thing at a different location, it would be a different horizontal. Like in this diagram here. That's why we see these two horizontals intersecting with each other, because they're oriented in a different orientation. Does that sort of make sense?
Perfect sense.
Right. So when people say when they start questioning how these horizontals suddenly start to curve, they don't. None of these horizontal lines ever curve because they're not conforming to the surface of the Earth. The only time you'd expect a line to curve is if that line was plotted along the surface of the ground. But just like I had mentioned earlier, these lines are in three-dimensional space, which means that they're independent of the surface of the Earth. They're their own independent lines in three-dimensional space.
I wonder why Brian Mabbott shared a TT Earth on Daily Boom. I don't know. He just shared a TT balloon or something.
I was getting some weird ideas from this. But yeah, I mean, this makes sense to everybody here present. My next question is, did I get anything wrong in this presentation? Is this an accurate depiction of what the globe model, of how the globe model actually works?
Well, my view is yes.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Right. So there is no paradox. There is this argument doesn't debunk the globe in any kind of way. And if anything, all it does show is SE Montreal and quantum erasers misunderstanding and incompetence as far as understanding how the globe model actually works.
Either that or they do it on
Okay.
purpose.
Okay, can we change it up a little bit and put 3 people on the curve?
I don't have any modeling software, so I can't do that right now.
Put one of your images up there. Let's have a look. Put an image up with 2 people stood on the curve.
Wait a minute, Brian. Can I show you something, Brian, first?
This one right here.
Yeah, keep that there for a sec. I'll grab it. Hold on. Move your pointer out of the way. Titius out of here. I'm sorry.
One last thing before Stingray goes. I find it interesting, though, that I actually wanted to have a debate with SC Montreal on this specific topic. And this was a while ago. This was at some point last year. And I wanted this to happen on Geo's server because I felt like it would have been properly moderated on that platform. So what SC chose to do was to suddenly show up on Geo's server and expected me to know that he was actually there. And I'm a busy person. I'm not always on Discord, and it's not like I was just waiting for him to show up so I could start debating him. What I did expect, or what I would have expected, was for him to actually get in contact with me, send me a message, tell me this is when I'm going to be there, and we can have the debate. But instead, what he chose to do was just show up there and say that I was scared to show up. Meanwhile, I had no idea that he was going to be there. He never bothered to tell me when he was going to be there. He just showed up and was like, oh, Chris isn't here, so he's scared. And he's been running around on the level server lying about what really happened. He's been lying, saying that I scheduled a debate that I never showed up for, which is complete nonsense. And I mean, I appreciate the time that you guys took to design flyers and all that stuff, but I'm not in your server. So I don't know what kind of stuff goes on in your server unless someone shows it to me. So I never knew any flyers were designed. I never knew you guys were planning to show up on a specific date. So this is not my fault. And furthermore, I plan to have another debate with SC on this channel, and he declined it. So he obviously isn't interested in actually doing or having an actual formal debate on this topic. He just wants to keep promoting this argument as if it's a valid debunk of the globe, when in fact it's not. It's just a demonstration of his incompetence and his misunderstandings of how the globe model actually works. Carry on, Stingray.
Yeah, what I find interesting is when it doesn't matter what channel conversation or debate or one-on-one discussion goes. It doesn't matter what channel, what side you're on, what platform it is, as long as it is only the 2 people participating and maybe a moderator, just in case things get out of control. Yeah, I don't care if somebody want to talk to me, they say, no, you have to come into a certain channel. I say, all right, well, is it going to be like 20 people there? Am I going to be able to speak? Am I going to be able to present my points? Are we going to have equal time to talk and let talk and maybe ask questions, get answers, and answer questions? If it's yes, I don't care. But if I'm going to go to a group of 20 people, like if I call in, let's say, Brian Mavitt, jump in today. We are only 10 Glovers in here, and we're gonna just overtalk you and insult you all day long, and we're gonna just laugh at you and just not entertain whatever you say. Are you gonna come in comfortable? No. But if I say, Brian Mavitt, somebody, I don't know, Mr. 42 want to talk to you a one-on-one. If everybody want to stay in the call, everybody can stay in the call, but everybody's going to stay quiet, or I'm going to server mute your ass. It's going to be one-on-one, and then me as a moderator to control it. So it's excuses. They just got excuses not to participate in a very fair
yeah.
one-on-one discussion,
He's all full of excuses. And in fact, he did the same thing with WS. WS wanted to have a formal debate with him on Big Blue's server. And Blue Marble and George were willing to go on mute and allow SC Montreal and WS to debate uninterrupted. He declined because he knew that he didn't stand a chance of debating anybody that actually knew what they're talking about. It seems as though he just wants to be in the on the level server, where if he gets stuck or isn't unable to answer any questions, he can rely on the people that are there to jump in and help him win the argument.
Yep. Hey, thank you very much, brother. And hey, stay, because Stingray got some skills, some modeling this stuff in 3D. So he's probably, a follow-up on what you had to present. So please talk to Stingray, interrupt him, and let's try to keep it more dynamic. So Stingray, I got your screen up. What do you have here? You got a 3D model of this hump or lump or whatever we call it, right? You're muted, Stingray. Remember that.
Yeah, I will remember that, obviously. Yeah, large tit in the middle. No, so, no, I agree with everything you said, Chris. And if you don't share it, as in you don't give it out, you're welcome to what I'm about to show you, this file in Blender, which I've constructed for this purpose. I'll caveat it first for any flat earthers saying, hey, look, this is 50 miles and it looks flat. But in fact, these two pieces of ocean, one is the globe, one is flat Earth, and it's 345 miles. And it just so happens that one of the examples that I've got on here is something that is especially for SE Montreal, because he called it a paradox, but it really isn't.
No, it's not.
I have I'm not sure he understands what paradox means, but I have two vessels here. They are sat on the curved ocean. I know that because if we zoom out, it's actually a little bit curved, but only slightly. We don't see the curve, we see the effect of the curve.
Exactly, and that's congruent with what you would expect to see in reality, because the curve is very slight.
Exactly. It's the same reason why you use foreshortening to know whether a plank is true, because looking at it, you just wouldn't see. Now, in 3D and modeling, it allows us to do something a little bit extra. So I put 3 kilometer high glowing orange masts on these things as well. But what we're looking at in the top left and the top right are two observers. So this little camera here on this little, I don't know what it's called, but this bit out from this one, where the walkway out, is this right-hand view here. And it's looking down at this vessel. And then the one on the left, we're actually looking from this camera here. So we're actually stood on the side of the vessel. And guess what? These are about to travel away from each other. And if we look, they both set off, they both go. And we have to zoom in to see what the hell's happening. We see that, one's reaching the horizon now. And it's the one that's lowest down. So this observer, which is the right-hand view, this ship still hasn't got to the horizon yet. But anyway, carry on. Now,
exactly.
We're going over. Now, all these have done is follow the curve. And guess how apparent that curve is? If we zoom out and look at these 3 kilometer high masts, it's not apparent for me to see curvature there. I only see the effect of curvature. And what we can see if we zoom in is this ship is almost entirely gone now. I'll just move it on a little bit more. Entirely gone. But the observer can still see because one's higher than the other. Now, if we move the camera up and down, we can see it again. Wow, it matches reality quite brilliantly. And it predicts brilliantly. And this is SE's twin boat paradox, not paradox. Don't know what a paradox is.
Yeah, this is brilliant stuff, man. And this is this is exactly what I was saying, that beyond that horizon point is where you would expect to see objects being obstructed from the bottom up. And if this was in fact level horizontal water that we're looking over, how could it possibly do that? Because if the boat is over the surface of the water, the only thing that you'd expect to happen as it moves away from you is it would reduce in angular size. You wouldn't expect it to be obstructed from the bottom up. The only thing that could possibly do that is, say, waves on the water. And depending on how close those waves are to that boat is going to dictate how much of the boat is actually going to be obstructed. But if it's a perfectly calm, perfectly horizontal body of water, all you would see is just the boat gets smaller and smaller until it vanishes in the vanishing point. You wouldn't see a horizon obstructing distant objects. That does not make sense on a horizontal plane.
So can you zoom in and bring that back into view?
No, Brian, no.
Oh,
so the
physically,
difference...
let's just say it's physically impossible to bring that back into view as it's gone over a curve, yeah?
Right. So Brian, on the left here...
Watch my video in the chat then.
Wait a minute, just really quickly. No, there's a difference between angular size and something being occluded by something else. You see, here, I can actually see that this vessel is occluded by physical water. And the same vessel on a flat Earth at the same distance is not. Now zooming or altering the focal length and thus reducing the field of view if you increase the focal length does nothing except that. So what is there? It makes bigger. It doesn't magic change the elevation of anything. So what we have here is that is the same distance as that. It is still exactly the same size, except one is obscured by water and matches the reality and is predictable, and we can go out and see it. And the other, well, doesn't quite work.
Yeah, this is brilliant. I'm glad that you were able to actually model this out on.
Like I say, you're free.
Yeah.
If you say you're not going to give it away, feel free to download Blender, and I'll send you the links to these to use.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I'd also like to share. I don't know if this is still if you're done or whatever, but there's something else I also want to share that does speak a little bit about this. Okay. Green. There we go. Can you see me?
On it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see my screen. Okay. So a lot of you obviously know that I used to be a Flurf not too long ago. And one of the things I used to believe was that this angular compression thing, you hear a lot of Flurfs like Gary Wybanga talking about a limited angle of view. And what that actually means is that let's consider this to be a building that we're observing in the distance. The further away we move from this building, it's going to uniformly reduce in angular size. However, what I used to think is that different sections of this object are going to reduce at different rates. And that doesn't make any sense, because if I move away from this building, the blue section is not going to get smaller faster than the brown section or the red section. It's all going to uniformly reduce in angular size. However, we keep hearing Flurfs, and also some Flurfs that claim that they're not Flurfs, claiming that, you know, a limited angle can be attributed to what we see with bottom-up obstruction. And that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. If you think about it logically, that's not how reality works. That's not how perspective works.
Yeah,
You say he's a flat earther, but you never were. I told you you weren't. I promised you weren't. I just posted a video.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead and do your troll on me.
We are in the talk. Brian Lique, 1 second. I got feedback on the topic. We got a topic on hand. We're not gonna bring this personal right now. I'm interested in the topic that we got right now. We're not gonna go into this personal that I believe you were or you were not, and all this
No,
bullshit.
man, hold on, Jose. No, because
I've been getting attacked constantly.
hold on, man.
This is not
He was just talking
surprising.
about a debate, and I talked to him. He talked eggshells, passed the message on to Bab when you were trying to debate on geos, and I accepted, and then you just disappeared, and you're talking about SC Montreal. So I'm just kind of vouching for SC Montreal because he wasn't around, and I just went back to hear a little bit of footage, and when you were on Brandon's, I promised. I said I promise you're not a flat earther. I promise you'll be preaching the globe within a few months. And this was a few months ago. I said it like 3 times. And but I'm just defending SC Montreal. But as far as on topic, I wanted to ask you this:
White Knight. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he is white knighting. Do you feel better now, Brian?
As far as on topic, listen, this is on topic. So you're talking about a hump and all this. So let's take a 10-mile. You can do this in your head. We don't need software for this. So let's take a 10-mile straight bridge. Let's just say we're starting in the middle, and we build it 5 miles one way, straight as an arrow, and then we go 5 miles the other way, straight as an arrow. What does that look like if we back up? Like if we back up about 5 miles or 8 miles, where we could see the whole 10-mile stretch. Well, what does it look like? Does it look straight, or ain't it arcing up on each end? Wouldn't it be like a concave bowl?
Okay, wait. I'm going to ask you to repeat that, but before you repeat that, I'm just going to get a few things straight here. I did accept to debate you on geos until I saw the video that you made about me. You went and made a troll video making all kinds of accusations about me, and I really didn't appreciate that. I found that extremely disrespectful. You had no reason to make those accusations about me because you have no idea or know anything about me.
What are you talking about accusations? And how did I disrespect you?
You're claiming that I was a fake flat earther and everything I was doing was all pretend, and you have no idea whether any of that is true.
They still say that about me. They still say that about me all till today, man.
Yeah, so I don't appreciate
that about anybody.
I don't appreciate people making false. Hold on, Brian. I don't appreciate people making false accusations about me.
We heard you, bud. We heard you. Now, I didn't say anything bad about you. Okay, all I said in that video was that, and if you'll be preaching the globe within a few months. Okay, is that disrespectful?
So what did your title mean?
No, answer my question.
The title of your video said. The title of your video said "Predicting Fake Flat Earthers." How is that not disrespectful towards me?
How is that disrespectful?
Because you're saying that I'm a fake flat earther, that everything I was doing in the past was all pretend.
Dude, how is that disrespectful, bro?
You don't know that. You don't know whether I was fake. You don't know if I was pretending. You're just making this shit up because you're a dumb retard.
In 4 years, I haven't accused anybody of that. Only you, Babs. Only you, buddy.
So what evidence do you have to substantiate any of that bullshit that you're saying right now? How do you know that I was pretending to be a flat earther? How do you know that?
Because, man, it was obvious.
You have no fucking idea. This is just some stupid bullshit that you just came up with to get views on your idiotic channel. You have no idea whether I was a fake pretend flat earther or not, Brian. This is why I didn't want to debate you. This is why I didn't want to debate you, Brian, because you're a redneck retard that doesn't understand anything, and it would just be a waste of my time. Just like this conversation with you right now is a complete waste of my time.
Now, so you're just firing out one shot after another, calling me a redneck retard, all this, telling me that I'm disrespecting you.
So calling me a fake flat earther is not disrespecting me?
Dude, I've made a prediction. You're the only person I've ever accused that of, ever in 4 years. And I made a video. I told you I made a video.
What prediction did you make? And that video just came out about a month ago. So what the fuck are you talking about?
In the video, I said, mark my words. Within a few months, you'll be preaching the globe. And I guess it was
you're an idiot, Brian. you're a moronic idiot, and
Brian,
you have no
so
idea what you're talking about.
Wait,
and
wait,
so
wait.
what?
Exactly,
Yeah, who gives a,
exactly.
who gives a
So what,
fuck whether
right?
I'm not a flat earther anymore?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Nobody cares.
Brian,
Brian, so what? So what,
okay.
Brian? Huh?
That's what I'm saying. I'm
Hold
saying
on,
so
Steve.
what,
Hold on,
right?
Steve. I got a comment. Brian Leakey, as for today, still I haven't heard Babs, Space Pope, never preaching the globe. He's never promoting the globe. He have never preached the globe. He's talking reality. He's talking the understanding and misunderstandings on the globe. He's telling us, I understand the globe. This is how it works. This is what we got. I don't hear him preaching the globe. What are you saying that he's preaching the globe, Brian? Why are you saying that?
Exactly.
Well, I just
And
gave
I
him
mean,
an
this is the
example,
only
and he just asked me a question, man. Okay, I just gave him an example, or I questioned him what a straight line would look like if we built a 10-mile bridge from the center, 5 miles one way, 5 miles the other, and it was dead straight each direction, and then he started attacking me, and yeah, so what? I said he'd be preaching the globe. That's y'all's reality. That's his reality. That's not an insult.
But it's
Is
not preaching the globe. He's speaking
Why does
reality.
anyone- Why
It's
does
him
anyone
understanding.
care? I don't understand
Okay,
why
so
anybody cares. Why is this
Well, let's
important?
talk reality then. So what's that bridge going to look like? Okay, so we back up about 6-7 miles, and we started in the center. We went 5 miles one way, and let's just say we're about 20 feet above the water, and then we went 5 miles the other way, 20 feet above the water. So what's that bridge going to look like, Babs?
A bridge.
I'm trying to understand what your example is. We're standing on a bridge looking at.
No, we're
someone-
not. We're standing about 7 miles away from a bridge. We're looking at it orthographically.
That's
Okay.
cute for Stingray. If you want to share your screen to have something cool in the background, I'm sharing Brian Mabbett's video, but it's like in a loop, like some little bit of a random.
But I kind of understand what Brian is saying. We're looking at
And,
a bridge
for the
from
record,
the
one more
side view. Can
thing.
I answer the
Before we
question?
change the subject, one more thing, Babs, real quick.
He's
Before
going
we
to
change the
answer your
subject, the
question.
reason I
He was
made
going to
that
answer your
video-
question.
Yeah,
Brian
I know,
Leakey, he was going to
he
answer
needs
your
clarity,
question.
and I understand that. I understand he needs clarity, but I wanted to say one more thing before we tied it up. The reason I made that video is because you're
not going to let him answer your question.
disappeared for the debate. What?
You're not going to let him answer your question first before you wrap it up.
No, he needs clarity. Listen, he needs clarity. I said I wanted to put closure on that and let him know why I did that. I didn't mean no disrespect. I just was showing my prediction, and I did that because you didn't respond after you act like you was going to debate me. That's why I made the video to try and antagonize you to get you to debate me. That's all.
See, that's not true. That's not true, Brian. I was going to debate you until I saw the video. So the video didn't come out. The video did not come out before we agreed on having a debate. That's not true.
No, exactly. The video came out after.
Yeah, it came out after, and that is why I canceled the debate.
Yeah, you said you was going to debate. You disappeared, so I made the video.
You're not.
You might have been busy. You might have been busy though. It's fine. I didn't mean it disrespectfully, dude.
Right. All right. I accept your apology. So we're looking at a bridge from the side view. How long is this bridge? You said 5 miles.
Yeah. Let's just say we're about. How far do you think we'd have to be back to see the whole 10-mile span? About 6-7 miles, probably. So yeah, it's 5 miles one direction, 5 miles the other. So it's 10 miles total.
The globe model dictates that you get 1 degree of curvature every 69 miles. So
Let's not
in 10 miles,
and then we'll both say what it'll be the mile. At first, just picture it like what we're going to see in reality. If it's a straight,
I'm using reality to make my point here.
All right, I'm with
the point.
Yeah,
the point that I'm making is that if there's only 1 degree of curvature over 69 miles, the amount of curve that you would see on a 10-mile bridge would be indiscernible. It would be so small that you wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we wouldn't see curve. Okay, but we'd have to see the bridge would be about 20 feet higher. I mean, you'd see it rising up above the water though, protruding out from
much like
from
LIGO,
the center, right?
Much like LIGO does, Brian. And what Chris said, just to add a figure to that, you're looking at a lateral curvature of 0.014 degrees. So that's just over
I'm with you on that.
degree.
I'm with you on that. I'm not really. I don't think we'd see it degrees wise, but I'm saying, wouldn't we see it? Wouldn't we see each end protruding out of the water though? let's say we're dead center to the bridge, and it's extending 5 miles to the right and 5 miles to the left.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be rising up out of the water if we went straight from the middle 5 miles one way and then 5 miles the other?
Yeah,
It'd be protruding up out of the water, wouldn't it?
This has been done, Brian. Go have a look at LIGO there
Like
to build
Lake
it like that.
Pontchartrain?
Yeah, my answer to that is that it would be so small that you wouldn't see it.
So it wouldn't be protruding up out of the water, though. I mean, I haven't made my point yet, really. I'm trying to find some common ground. Would everybody agree that the bridge would be protruding up out of the water, heading toward each end?
I don't agree with that. No. If that bridge is at equal elevation above the water,
I didn't
don't
say it
think
was
you would
equal
know.
elevation. I said it was a dead straight line.
then that would mean that it's at equal elevation above the water.
No, that'd be a line following the curve. Welcome back to flat Earth, man.
So
A
when you
straight
say
line is
straight,
the-
is it conforming to the curve of the Earth, or is it a horizontal bridge that's not conforming
Dead straight
to the
line.
curve?
It's a dead straight line. It doesn't matter what model we're on. It is a dead straight line with no curvature, no equal elevation, no none of that. It's a dead straight line. We're going to start in the center, and we're 20 feet above the water in the center. We're going to head a dead straight line in free space. And then we're going to come back and go the other direction, 5 miles, another dead straight line. So yeah, it would be horizontal, right? And I guess the middle would be your tangent, right? It'd be a dead straight line. And so I'm asking you, wouldn't a dead straight line would have to be a bowl, right? It'd have to be curving up. I understand degrees wise, we wouldn't see a banana, but just to exaggerate it, just for the sake of visualizing it, it would be protruding up out of the water on each end, right? We would probably notice the upward curvature, right?
I don't think you'd notice it with your naked eyes, but if you used like some kind of tool to measure, you could probably notice like a tiny, on the order of micrometers difference.
And now,
Do the math.
before Big Blue, a quick announcement from our supporters of the channel. This time is John Mongoose with a big $10 PayPal hit. Thank you, John Mongoose. And the comment reads, "How dare you question Brian Leakey? The man debunked photosynthesis with absolutely no knowledge on how it works. He is clearly the world's smartest man. P.S. Thank you for allowing me to pay in order for my comments to be read. Hashtag Leo rocks." Humongous, thank you very much. That was great. Boom.
Just do the math, Brian. 5 miles either direction. If it's tangent at the center, 5 squared is 25 times 8 inches. That's 200 inches. That's 16 feet, 8 inches.
Wait, okay,
miles
hold
away,
on.
you're not
You say,
gonna
wait,
see it.
5 miles, one more time. 5 miles one way would be, what you say would be how much?
5 squared is 25 times 8 inches. That's 200. 200 inches, right? Am I doing it right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
200 inches divided by 12. That's 16 feet, 8 inches.
So it'd be, so we'd see it'd be about 16 feet higher on each end. So it'd be
2 feet higher off the water, yes.
So
Is
it
that
would
how
look
they
like it would
construct
look,
bridges, though?
I mean,
They
if you
construct them
exaggerate it in your
perfectly
mind, though,
straight.
it would look kind of like a bowl, right? I mean, if you exaggerate it in your head, it would look like a bowl, kind of like a lid.
Brian, look at this. Please look at my screen. This is a 5 mile fucking bridge that is straight along the curvature of the Earth. Looking at
Stingray,
it from any angle.
I'm gonna put you up. I'm gonna put you up on screen, but first we gotta wrap up the point that Big Blue was having with Brian here.
Okay.
I think Stingray is going to add to it, aren't you, Stingray?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do understand without even you showing that. I know what you're going to show. I mean, I know that's not a lot, but the concept is it be curving up? It would absolutely be curving up on each end, though.
No, Brian. It's a straight line. It's a straight line. It doesn't curve up. It's a straight line. Now, the difference in elevation at each end, Blue's just given you. Now, I'm going to show you if you could look back at it from a great distance and have it one hell of a size. And I'm talking 100 meters high by 300 meters wide, but 5 miles long. It would look like this. Now, can you tell me what your point is here?
Well, I'm trying to get to it, man. But let me get some clarity from you now. How far back would we have to be to see the 10-mile span, with just turning our head, a few degrees? In other words, we could see the middle and a good portion of it, but how far back would we have to be from the bridge, just about level, just at about ground, just in a boat on the water? Would we I'm just guessing at about, 5, 6 miles, 7 miles, maybe?
No. So A, you wouldn't be able to look at it with the human eye, because the human eye, you only see about 10 degrees field of view detail and recollection. You actually paint the world in your brain. If you're on about an optic, then with something like a 12 millimeter lens with a 50 odd or 60 degree field of view, then yes, you could be about 5 miles back. But that's a hell of a wide angle lens, just so you know. Brian?
What?
Uh-oh. No, I meant Lee K. Oh, he's on mute. Wait a minute. Brian, do you know you're on mute?
Yeah, he probably got a phone call or something. Probably lagging over there.
I'm just looking at the other Brian's image that he posted in the chat. What does your image mean, Brian?
Hold on. So what I'm asking Stingray is for clarity, but technically it will be rising up out of the water toward each end. It'd be curving up from the water, rising up. Wait, would you disagree or agree with this one question? It's going to be rising up out of the water, going toward each end.
Right, so if I was able to take a photo at that, it would be, unless you had a 100,000 megapixel image, it would be, you'd be able to tell an elevation difference at each end less than a pixel.
But it would be rising up out of the water, though. About 16 foot on each end, right?
So wait a minute. If you went up to it, like Blue said, I think he did the calculations on it. It'd be 16 feet. But 16 feet at 5 miles with a 60 degree field of view, even on today's most amazing cameras, you're looking at a difference of much less than 1 pixel.
Yeah, but that wasn't my question. My question is, it's simple, and so we got common ground. We both agree it'd be rising up out of the water, heading toward each end. I ain't even talking about seeing it yet.
But to be fair, no, you say it's straight, so the Earth would be curving down below it. That's the other way around.
So it wouldn't be rising up out of the water. I mean, what is the fucking problem here? I'm just trying to get to a point that it would be rising up out of the water on each end. And I just want somebody to say yes. It would be rising up out of the water on each end. I ain't asking for pixel count. For God's sake, man.
The elevation at each end would be different to the center by about 16 foot, if that's what Blue said.
Okay, 16 foot. So we're about 5 miles away, we said, and we wouldn't be able to see the whole thing. All right.
No, I'm saying 5 miles away, you can see the whole thing.
I mean, but not with detail, like you're saying, not with detail.
The problem is, mate, they implement bendizontal. So their horizontal is bent. Nobody else is, just theirs.
I'm trying to demonstrate the hump they don't recognize, right, Brian?
That's not true, Brian, because we already established at the beginning of this conversation, if you use a theodolite to establish a horizontal, that line moves infinitely in one direction. It does not curve. The only lines that curve are the ones that conform to the surface of the Earth. There's no such thing as a bendizontal. That's just some bullshit that Bev came up with.
Yeah, well, I mean, so a straight line is going to be, in essence, a ball. So if we go further, let's say we take it 8 miles in each direction. Or let's just go 10 miles. We'll cap it at 10 miles. It's going to be about 60 feet about 6 feet above the water on each end, right? It's going to be like a bowl, right? Water is going to flow down toward the middle of that bridge, right? We're going to have a bowl of water. And I mean, effectively, that bridge is going to be like a bowl of water, two-dimensionally, right, Fab?
Only if the bridge is straight and it's not conforming to the surface of the water.
Okay, so if it's straight, then it's going to be a bowl.
I wouldn't consider it to be noticeable, but yeah, you should be able to measure some slight curvature there.
You do understand why all the top ballers will not go into this realm, because they cannot fucking get out of it.
What realm are you talking about, Brian?
You can't have.
I believe.
You can't have a hump in the middle, and you have to if two people are stood apart and the center of the ball is in the middle.
Oh my
Why would you have a
Oh
hump?
God, we've
over-
been over this.
Yeah, we have been over this, Brian. Why would you have a hump over a surface of equal elevation?
Because that middle person has got to be higher. Got to be. So now they are on the middle.
No, they're on
They
the
are
same
on the
elevation.
On the same
We
elevation.
did establish that already.
top. Then that's when you get your bendizontal. This is
That
when
is a
you
made-up word.
implement bendizontal.
That is a made-up word.
No, it's not. This is what you do.
So, Brian, tell me this, Brian. If we're looking over the surface of water, there are two people. One person is on one side of one side of the shore. Another person is on the opposite side of the shore. Is the middle of that water going to be at a higher elevation than both of those two people?
In one aspect, it has to be higher. In another aspect, they should be both looking at a drop into the center.
If those two observers are both looking parallel to the surface of the ground, why would there be a hump in between them?
Because the center would be in the middle on a curve, which has got to be at a higher elevation.
The only time you see the curvature is when you're looking at an angle. When that sight line intersects at a tangent to the circle, that's the only time you see the horizon. But if you're looking horizontally, I don't think it's going to work that way, Brian.
Well, I tell you, the only way what we see can work is if we live on a flat plane.
If we lived on a flat plane, we wouldn't see distant objects being obstructed by the horizon.
I've just put 3 videos up that show exactly that. It's just a optical phenomena.
No, it is.
I'm going to watch your videos. I'll be right
So
back.
No, it isn't.
What do you mean? No, wait. What do you mean? No, it isn't. Who said no? It isn't.
I
It's
did.
not optical. So horizon is not refracted. I thought we've already settled that.
Somewhat.
Where it doesn't prove globe or flat. I thought we come to an agreement.
That's not the point Brian's trying to make. Stop being a twat.
And even if you're going to
Somebody said
claim,
no, it isn't.
even if you're going to
Somebody said
claim,
what all the drop and being able to see too far. We've all
Brian.
agreed that that's optical.
and
Brian,
even if you're going to claim refraction, Brian, the density gradient in our atmosphere only favors looming refraction, not sinking. So that wouldn't work in your favor.
Yeah, remember, Brian Ligue, because you came in a little late, this is more of a Space Pope presentation. And we are, it's interactive, yeah, back and forth, but, he got microphone priority, so we cannot take over the microphone like all day long, until he say like, yeah, I'm out of here, then we go to the shit show. But let's try to make it too much of a shit show, even though it has been. So let's try to keep it some kind of, without going to the worst dumpster fire level. Let's keep it dynamic.
Yeah, I'll
and fun
back
and
off,
entertaining.
Jose. I'll back off, bro. It's like pulling fucking teeth sometimes, though, brother. But I'll back off and I'll just come in when I have something. When I'm just trying to keep people honest.
Well, let me ask you a
Brian,
question.
you can keep talking. I mean, I don't have a problem with what Brian is asking. I honestly do not have a problem with that. You don't have to leave if you don't want to.
Stingray, can you model this with a flat level surface for the water?
Yes, I can, Brian. I'll do it for you right now. But really quickly, let me just show the other Brian this first, and then I'll do your thing. Lique, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's loading. Yep, I just came up.
Okay, cool. So we got 3 super tankers here. This cost me a lot of money to assemble these in the middle of this brilliantly curved ocean. That we don't see the curvature on when we're close. We only see the effect of it. Now, two vessels are going to move away from each other, and I'm going to leave this one in the middle, the third observer. On the left, we have one view sat on one ship. On the right, we have another view sat on another ship. They move apart. Now, we have to zoom in to see them, and we're looking at each vessel here. And now we see they're moving away, moving away. One start to go over the horizon now. The others start to go over the horizon. This is because of elevation difference.
Which one's the hump in the middle?
Now, just really quickly. Now, do you see this boat here is on the horizon relative to both of them? Weird that, isn't it? But this is what we expect to see on a curve. And if you really look at examples on YouTube, you'll see this is what we see in reality as well.
Now, usually we see an inferior mirage, man. And sometimes we do see that. But it varies. I mean, I don't have two examples of that. You know, it varies all the time.
Now go to other Brian's thing. So carry on. I'm doing other Brian's thing because I'm just for hire.
But if one boat left the middle and another boat left and the third boat left and they all went in their opposite directions, then they all went down. So they all left a hump in the middle. I don't know why y'all can't just say, yeah, there's a fucking hump in the middle. You know, it doesn't disprove a globe. To me, it's just like kind of in the process of getting to my point.
So
you know,
you're saying that there's no hump in the middle because there is no hump in the middle.
Yeah, Brian, the issue is relative to what? So a hump, to me...
I'm not talking about relative to free space.
No, this is the issue. I'm going to point out the issue to you. The issue is like saying speed. Speed relative to what? Well, the ground. Okay, brilliant. So now when I say something's humped, yeah, it's relative to something. There's no intrinsic property to humpedness without knowing the flatness or the levelness of something. So
okay, well, draw me a hump. Do me a favor. Draw me a hump. Draw a globe Earth with two men on top, and then draw me a hump on top of that. Draw me a double hump. Let's go camel in this motherfucker. Excuse my language.
Have a hump, you have to look down.
Let's go double titty. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just trying. So what I was trying to get at earlier. In fact, I want to hear what Mavic had to say about that, and then I had one more point I wanted to make before we end.
I mean, a hump would be an elevation change. So you guys are claiming that water has elevation changes. That's ridiculous.
No, you're talking relative. We're talking about reality. You're talking about relative. We're talking about an actual ball. And
yeah, in reality, on an actual sphere that doesn't have any topography on it, it wouldn't have any humps on it.
Okay, well, what if you're on one side of the equator, and I'm all the way on the other side of the equator? We're both level. We're level with each other. You gonna still tell me there's no fucking hump in the middle, dude? How about there's half the earth in the fucking middle?
As long as there's no topography.
God, man. It's like pulling teeth.
Elevation.
Brian, it's like pulling teeth, man.
Where would you describe a hump on a basketball?
When you've got 2 points on it that's got a hump in the middle of them.
Yeah, exactly, Brian. Can you point out where the humps are on a basketball?
Brian, they're ashamed of their hump. They're ashamed of their fucking hump, bro.
You should be ashamed to be a grown man to think.
No, you think a hump is shameful and you try to push it on us. That's the problem.
This is why George and everybody dropped it, because they knew they couldn't argue it.
I got this example analogy. So if I'm wearing glasses and then I flip my glasses and I put them behind my ears, behind my hand, right? I mean, I put them like that and I just for the hell of it. So I got 2 pairs of glasses. That means that in between the 2 glasses, the top of my head is the hump. Like my whole forehead and head and all the way to the back.
Well, your head is not a perfect sphere, so I don't
Look, you can put us on lawn chairs like Matt Basby, like you can put me on a lawn chair or whatever, or say what direction I'm looking relative. But in free space, okay, in reality, in free space, there is definitely a hump between us if you went down from one point and I went down from another. I understand what you mean by looking in different directions. We're both looking up over, okay? But in reality, there is a hump of Earth. in between us. And I just tried to demonstrate that by putting you on one side of the equator and me on the other, and putting half of the Earth hump in between us. Let's say we're both looking at Polaris. There's still a hump between us, man. And I know you don't like to admit that, and I know you like to go to relative and all that.
You're just using the wrong terminology, because a hump would be defining an elevation change, and that doesn't apply to what we're describing right now.
Well, think free space. Think
There's an obstruction.
You altered this model then?
Yeah, give me a second, Brian. Jesus.
I thought you might have had it saved. Now you've destroyed the model. Have you got it saved?
Oh, my curved one. Yes, I'm doing it flat now for you because there you go.
I thought you were destroying the work you'd done.
Oh God, no! I've got my 2 ships here. This is a new one.
I want 3.
You can have 2. You have to pay me for the 3rd.
All right, send me the bill.
What do you get? $5,000 an hour?
Because that gives us a reference point to where they were.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Got you. No, fair enough. I'll give you a 3rd.
Yeah, Brian's going to claim that the boat in the center is higher than the other 2 boats.
No, he's wanting me to do it on a flat surface for some reason, so I'm indulging him. There we go.
Big shout out to everybody watching. We got 50 plus people watching. We have had 57, 54 now, but over 50 people watching. Please consider supporting by clicking the thumbs up. That does help a lot. And thank you very much, everybody, for being part of the 500 plus subscribers of the channel. Yesterday, the show was the almost 500 subscribers special. We started the show with 498. And in the beginning of the show today, we were up to 536. So, hey, slowly but steady. Thank you very much, everybody, for your support. Hell yeah, big
man. YouTube should give you at least at least 1,000, man. But you'll get it back, man. That's good, man.
I've got to hustle. I've been hustling to get up to this 500 plus, man. Been hustling around.
I'll bring some shit shows a couple times a week, man. I'll do my share for you, man.
Good. Yeah, we need that.
Because in all reality, guys, man, it's a fun debate, man, and I understand everything y'all say. I don't ever try to act like I don't understand it. I just get frustrated when y'all can't see it my way, just kind of like go along with it. But I understand where y'all are coming from, and y'all are hold fast to your model. But the fact of the matter is, this platform, we get to our piece, and there's only a few true ones like that, and I'll give you credit. This is definitely one of them where you can come, speak your piece, and present whatever arguments you may have.
Did I have
Brian,
fun, Yeah, we come in to have fun.
Brian. If you understand the model, why do you have a problem with it?
I don't have a problem with all of it. I just I just get aggravated when I try and present, other ways of seeing it, and people act like they don't even get it and dodge questions and make excuses. Like, just go along with it and feel me out, and then tell me your reason why. It's like sometimes I'm clawing back just to get back to neutral points where we both agreed on a lot of topics that, hey, this doesn't prove it either way, and I got to claw my way back just to get to where we already agreed on certain things. But it just frustrates me.
I just feel like you're not using the correct terminology.
Then why do you use the word hump? Exactly. Why do you use the word hump? Would you
just trying to explain to y'all that there's a hump and there's a big lump of earth blocking your vision?
Listen,
if there's 2 people,
for a minute.
And there's something in between y'all. What's in between?
Listen for a minute.
The curve. Yeah, go ahead.
Listen for a minute. Your position on the earth, wherever you stand on the earth, you are at the top of the earth. Would you agree?
I agree. Okay. I understand. Like I said, I understand that I'm looking up over. I understand what you're saying.
A person a mile away from you to the front, or a person a mile away from you to the back is below you. There is no hump. It's an obstruction.
Okay. Let me just make a simple point. If you're 10 miles away from me in a little boat on the water, just right on the water, and I'm 10 miles away, what's in the way from me seeing? What's stopping me from seeing you? And don't deflect. Give me a man fucking answer. What's stopping me from seeing you if you're 10 miles away on a little raft in the water?
An obstruction. An obstruction.
Obstruction of what?
An
Of what?
obstruction of water.
Of what?
Of water.
Okay, so otherwise known as a
obstruction.
A hump.
Hump
Otherwise known as
hump
looking.
implies an elevation change up and down. You need to learn your words.
I didn't say anything about elevation. I said I understand what you're saying about the elevation and how you're looking up over. I understand that on your ball.
Word hump.
Well, I'm just trying to explain to you how nobody wants to say that there's a bulge, call it whatever you want, on a sphere. There would have to be water or land in the way of me seeing you. You could call it a bulge. Yeah, we're not speaking elevation. Now, if I want to talk elevation, I'll get technical with you. But it's literally there's a bulge of Earth because the Earth is a ball in your model. So
can I share my image?
And all that, still a bulge of Earth.
Earlier with Brian.
You got it done yet?
Yeah, it's done, but we'll come back to it. Let Chris share.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a real quick demonstration for Brian, and I just want to ask him a question.
I'm gonna share the screen, but I just put a poll up on the chat. Please vote. The question is, what kind of fun are you having? So please vote. We are having clean fun, or troll fun, or face palming fun, or annoyed fun. Please vote today. Vote now.
I'm having lots of fun.
When you share the
that's not
screen,
one of the options.
when you share the screen, I'll share it for you too.
I'm sharing my screen right now.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, let me find the image again. Can you see my screen?
Annoyed fun.
Can you see my screen, Brian?
Let me get to it. I was voting.
All right.
You are presented to YouTube, and there is Mr. 42, Brian Leake, and Mojokman watching. Yep.
I see it now.
Actually, this is probably the wrong image to use right now. Hang on. I use this one instead. Yeah, because this applies a little bit more to what we're talking about here. So, let's say this is a person looking at a building being obstructed by the curvature of the Earth. This is their line of sight, which is at an angle, and it would be a tangent to the circle. So, at what point would there be a bulge in between this person and the building that they're looking at?
As soon as you draw them two guys, when they try to make eye contact, there's going to be something in the way. And I could call it a hump. I could call it a bulge. I could call it Earth. I could call it water. I could call it H2O. I call it whatever. But there's a hump of something in the way.
Okay, let's assume that this is a sphere that doesn't have any topography. So all points along this sphere are equidistant from the center of this sphere. Why would there be an elevation change between this person and the building that they're looking at?
You didn't say there. I didn't. Blah. I can't talk. As far as elevation change on your globe, there'd be no elevation change, but there'd still be something in between us from seeing each other. And I don't know why it kills y'all to say hump. It's not a flat Earth truth.
Because it's not a hump. A hump would mean that it would be an elevation protruding above the surface of the ground. And that's
Have you heard the word sagitta? Somebody is telling that's the actual term.
Yeah, it's a sagitta. And a sagitta is not a bulge or a hump.
There's such a thing of me saying
and free space the shortest distance would be the shortest distance I could travel to get to you. Technically, it wouldn't be much, but would be to tunnel through the Earth, right?
Right, downhill. From your
tunneling through the Earth, right?
from your original
So
position.
why would you
Wait,
claim that there's
downhill.
a
Wait,
ball
wait,
if
wait,
there's no
wait.
ball?
He just said downhill, but we established that a bridge, a flat, true horizontal bridge is going to be a bowl. Exaggerated. It's not really going to be a bowl. Okay, I understand that, but it's going to be protruding up. It's going to be protruding up higher above the water from each end, and water is going to collect in the middle. So it's going to be a 16-foot deep trough of water if it was 3 dimensions. So you can't say I'm going downhill.
I think you can say that. From your original position, everything is down to the surface of the earth.
Then there's a hump. If I'm tunneling down, then that means there's a hump in the middle.
Right, they can't see it, mate.
All right, Brian, why don't you point out to me where the hump is on this image? Where is the hump?
Can you not see that that straight line is touching the middle, that it's higher than the 2 objects at each end?
I can see that, but I can also see that this circle is equidistant. A hump would look more like this, Brian. That's what a hump would look like.
Turn it upside down and ask him the same question, whether it's a hump.
He drew it. That's Kitty
That's
Earth.
still a hump.
Who said Kitty Earth, man? That was spot on, man.
Right, but that's what you guys are championing right now, Titty Earth.
No, we're not.
But wouldn't that be an extra hump in the way? I mean, that would be a smaller hump, and sitting on top of the bigger hump in between you two guys.
I've posted the image in the chat of 3 people, and the one in the middle has to be higher. In your model, has to be.
They'd kill him to acknowledge something as simple as that, Brian. It'd kill him just to acknowledge it.
Brian?
Pick that one I done.
Brian, turn your image upside down and then tell me where the hump is. And who's higher.
I'm just trying to find Brian's image. Is this the one, Brian?
Yeah.
This one right here?
One in the middle has got to be higher than the 2. Got to be, and you can't do anything about it. You have to be, and this.
Yeah. So let's say if the moon is directly overhead, Brian, let me help you. If the moon is directly overhead from the guy in the middle, then the moon's going to be farther away from the 2 guys on each end, right? The moon's going to be further away, and the guy in the middle is in essence going to be on like a hill or a hump, and he's going to be closer to the moon because of that. Is that right?
I don't think so. And you guys have a misunderstanding of what elevation is. My understanding of what elevation is it's the elevation above sea level or elevation above the surface of the ground.
We understand that, Chris.
Any of these people at a different elevation.
We definitely understand that. When you're talking elevations on your model, we understand it, but we're trying to get you to reality, and that's why I brought the moon. So you wouldn't agree that the guy in the middle, if the moon is zenith directly over his head, that he wouldn't be closer to the moon than the other 2 guys?
Oh yeah, he would be closer. Yeah, you're right.
He'd be like the same as being on a hill, right? Maybe not the same effectively if you start talking about getting technical and all that, but I'm just talking about real life. If I'm on a mountain, there's a plane directly over my head. Okay, and there's 2 guys, one 5 miles one way, one 5 miles the other on your ball. The guy on the mountain's going to be closer. Same thing if we're on the water in that drawing. If we're all 3 water level and the moon's over our head, directly over the guy in the middle's head, he's going to be closer to the moon. He's going to be like on a hill, same as being on the mountain. Same concept. He's going to be like on a hump.
Well, it's only because we're looking at this from orthographic view. And that creates several problems because we don't observe reality in orthographic view.
Totally agree with you.
Okay, Brian, look at my image. Which guy is higher?
Give us a second. Y'all got to call me Leaky and him Brian so we know who the hell y'all talking about.
Love it.
I'm called not Brian.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to, hello, you are new, Brain Fog. he dropped a link, drop and hump. The title of the video is drop hump. Click and check it out. 60 people watching. Holy hell. Very good.
Okay, Brian, from my image here on my screen here.
Is this Moyoc?
Yes.
Okay,
Have it.
I'm looking.
Actually, either Brian can answer.
I've got it on as well.
Okay, so which guy is higher?
Middle.
All right, so you're consistent.
Got it?
I
This is
get
why
that.
you've got this, because theoretically, the one in the middle should be lower if the Earth's dropping away, but they don't. They end up higher. Is it called a paradox?
So now you know what they've done with their bridge now? Now they've took their bridge that collects water in the middle and they flipped that bitch upside down. Now they've got a
They would still collect water in the middle.
straight line and it's upside down. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't kid. It's hard to tell.
How we
There's
doing,
nothing that
Stinger?
you can say that would be questionable as to what you could believe possibly.
What I want you to do now is watch Stingray's presentation and watch the video I'm playing, and you'll find they look identical.
Okay.
I put your
This
screen up.
is reality. This is what we live upon.
Okay.
Some sort
So-
of flat plane.
Yeah. So here we have an amazing, beautiful flat plane, and we have 3 vessels. We've got one that's going to be stationary, and we've got 2 that are going to be traveling away from each other. And on these 2 vessels, we have cameras attached looking at the opposing vessel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to move them away from each other. And here we go. They're setting sail, and we can see we can still see the one in the middle here in both the shots, kind of. And it's going to move away.
You move them a little bit so they.
Wait a minute, Brian. Move away. Right, it's getting really tiny now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. And we can see, horizon's still up there because it's 300 miles away. So that's cool. So let's just watch this go away even further, even further, even further, even further, even further. Oh my God, they're still there. Let's zoom in. Oh, wow. Okay, interesting. This is not what we see in reality. Interesting.
Yes, it is. Now watch the video I'm showing. You can't zoom in 300 miles.
On the computer I can, and this is the prediction, and this is the prediction of flat Earth. This isn't 300 miles, by the way. The distance. Wait a minute, just really quickly. The distance between these is 5 miles. So they move 2.5 miles away from each other. So this is 2.5 miles. Now, in contrast, an amazing thing in contrast here is if we go have a look at the globe Earth prediction, we see that as it's going away, we zoom in, but then no amount of zooming in is going to bring that fucker back because it's hidden behind water.
Totally agree with you. Now watch my video.
So what about when we could see the whole thing 20 miles away? Then you're going to say
When you can see
refraction.
the whole thing,
I thought we've already come to an agreement that it doesn't prove it either way, obstruction in the distance. Because to me, it proves a flat Earth. But if I'm being honest, and I accept your argument for at least something, whether I want to call it an excuse or not, it's an explanation. Okay.
One comment.
Yeah.
I got one comment, Stingray, for you.
Okay.
Brian Leakey, I hope that you can link me to this observation where you can see a boat 20 miles away, and I need data, I need verification that the distance from the observer to the boat is actually 20 miles away. Whenever you can provide that, not now, but share it whenever you can.
I'll do one better. I'll give you short of short, Isle of Man, for 21 miles.
No, boat. No, I want to see it, the one with the boat.
Yeah, there's plenty of boats in between the two.
Whenever you can DM me or link me to this 20 miles observation of a boat, and with data that I can verify that is actually that distance away. Whenever you can. I don't want a short to shore. I don't want an island. I don't want a building. I want a boat 20 miles away because you claim that have happened. So whenever you can.
Yeah, I was also speaking hypothetically. Like if we could see.
Oh, so you don't have that. You're just making shit up. You don't have that. You're just making shit up.
Okay, so how about you're gonna jump right down my throat? I'm trying to be honest. okay, and saying, yeah, I could probably find it, but I was saying I'll give him one better.
Until you find it.
I'll give him sore. But look, guess what though? You showed me a video of the boats that are only like 2.5 miles away. You said you call it 3 or 4 even, that are under the curve, and you're 25 feet up or 22 feet up, and it couldn't be Earth curve, and we're missing the bottom of a lighthouse and a boat. So it works both ways. Is all I'm saying. Is it's hard to claim proof either way optically because we see the distance varies.
Brian, stop preaching 2 seconds. And I know you're not preaching, but you were going on a lot. I've at the moment, I've built this lovely model for you. And all I've done, there's no difference between me doing this in the physical world or doing it on computer, because all I've done is use distances, angles, and size. So unfortunately, in order to build this in reality and to make it practically, me be able to use it, I'd have to use a beach ball for the Earth, and I'd have to use a beach ball the size of a city block for the sun, and I'd have to have a stretch of 60 miles. I ain't going to do that, so it's easier to do it on computer. But there's no math, there's just the physicality of things on the computer. And you know what this thing does? It can predict Terminator lines and the exact path of the sun through your sky on any month, day that you tell me. It will do it to within half a degree. It will always be accurate. And all I have to, wait a minute, let me finish. No, there. And all I have to do is rotate the sphere, and that's it. Nothing else.
No, you're not. But let me you'll have to use magnetic declination. You'll have to swear by that. You'll have to say, for sure which way the true North Pole is. All this stuff from certain areas, and it's not that simple, man. I'm just saying it's not that simple.
Stop. So I have an observer that I can place on any lat long, and the orientation of the spin, everything is axial. So I've even got a camera on the top of the globe and at the bottom looking upward. And yes, there is looking upward at the bottom. We can even see opposing star trails. But I forget, you told me where you were once before. Shit, wait a minute.
You're scattergunning, bro. You're scattergunning. Now you done talking about the sun and now star trails and all this stuff.
Where are you?
I'm at 30 degrees north.
Sorry?
I'm at 30 degrees north. Is that what you're asking?
Just an approximate lat long. I don't want your exact damn address or anything.
I'm like 3080.
Oh, yeah. So here'll do. So what I've got now is I'll just turn it to whatever month we're in, because this is kind of important. We're coming up to the end of January. So here we are. Now, I've got a camera now that I've placed approximately where you are, and we're looking at this big view on the right. What this big view on the right can now do is predict the exact path of the sun through your sky. And these little things are 5-degree increments. And it can predict where the sun's going to rise, where it's going to fall. It's never wrong, and it's never been wrong. And the crazy thing is, all I had to do to make it to work is plant you on this planet and rotate the planet. And that's it.
You say it's never been wrong. What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean it's never been wrong?
I mean, I've tried it everywhere. I've tried looking at the Terminator line, different placements, sunrise, sunset, everywhere throughout the year with everybody that's been on here. And so far, no one's come up with a way that this is wrong.
How did we map out the equator, Stingray?
How did I map out the equator? I didn't.
How did we, as a civilization, how did we map out the equator?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't care.
Well, how would you describe the equator?
The largest circumference of this fucking thing that I've built, but I don't care. It's irrelevant.
So it's all modeled from the sun, right? So why wouldn't it match?
No,
okay.
No.
All modeled from the sun. How would you describe Capricorn?
No. Equate. I didn't, when building this, the word equator didn't come into it. All I did is I created a sphere at the radius they say it is, tilted it at the angle they say it is, put a sun at the distance they say it is, and then I started rotating this globe, and it never fails in its predictions. How weird is that?
You can't, dude, I already told you, okay? Just look at Australia on the equinox, and you look at where you're looking according to the compass of where the sun's coming up, and you're gonna have to tilt 11 degrees because you're gonna have a reason for it. I'll give you that. You have a reason that the sun ain't rising where your model says it's gonna, but unless you dive deeper in the model, and then you find why. And then you say, okay, because true north is not in that direction, you know. So you act like it's fail safe, okay? There are things that won't work that you have fixes for.
It's something that won't work. Brilliant. I've been waiting for a flat earther to show me how this doesn't work, because none of them ever have at the moment. Do you want to be the
You
first?
think that's the only thing that doesn't work?
Do you want to be the first, yes or no?
I just told you. You just had to make a fix, and you had to say actually. Hold on, let me finish. Hold on, let me finish. You had to say that actually east is 11 degrees that way. That the sun is right, the compass is wrong.
I'm not on about magnetic direction here. This is true. So where do you want me to put this, and where is it going to be wrong? Please tell me.
Wherever it doesn't matter. Hey, if you looked at the magnetic declination for the United States, it looks like a inverted sphere. It starts in the middle and it curves out. It curves out in every direction.
Again, let's pretend. Wait a minute. Let's just pretend we do not know anything about the magnetic fields of the Earth. The only thing we go off is the axial.
Then you lost your excuse, man, because you said it's right.
Nearly done. Nearly done. We only go off the axial and the coordinate system mapped by GPS, which coincidentally
it's wrong, bro. It's wrong. If you don't
nearly there. I know it's hard. And you give me a location that will not predict reality. Go.
Almost everywhere, man. Almost everywhere.
Right. Give me a location.
One in specific. Let me answer. One in specific. I could just post it. I could post it in Discord where it's off 11 degrees from the globe prediction until you put in magnetic declination. So what you say is that's not really east. East is actually 11 degrees further north. The magnetic lines are wrong. The sun ain't wrong. The magnetic lines are wrong. So if you throw out magnetic declination, then you're throwing out your excuse for why they don't match, why it doesn't match global reality.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to hope that you understand. I am not using a compass, and I am not using the magnetic fields of the Earth.
It's wrong. It's wrong. There's 11 degrees on Australia.
Please let me finish. Please let me finish. I'm not using any of that, Brian. I am simply using true, which is relation to the axial rotation of the Earth. So I don't give a shit that there might be a large deposit of iron underneath me. I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. I'm going off the spin of the Earth and the stars before we even knew about magnetic fields. So now, Brian, give me a location that will not predict exactly the sunrise and sunset on any day on any part of this planet, and you win. You win.
Okay, let me do it. About 75% of every city on Earth. How about that?
Oh my God.
They're all off. They're all off.
One.
There's a good portion of them. Like, in fact, I'll say 55%. More than half are off, according to a globe. Okay.
Pick one.
And if you threw out magnetic declination, you threw out the reason why they're off. So now you've got no excuse.
Pick one.
Stop with magnetic. Let's say we don't have compasses. Let's go back before the time we had compasses. Let's go off.
Then if I look east, okay, then let me give you an example. If I look east, hold on. If I look east, okay, in Australia, then if I travel from directly under the North Pole, okay, and I've worked my way to Australia, and I look east, the sun is not going to be east. It's going to be 11 degrees off.
Right.
It's not going to match
right now.
Let me throw one thought out there. It's all Chris Matt's fault. It's Spaceball fault. That's his fault.
This is all my fault.
It's all your fault, bro. Brian Mallet want to share his screen for a few minutes. If we can do that, maybe we'll go back to your thing. That's cool with you.
And yeah, the sun should set north of west in Australia on flat Earth.
All right, I'm setting you up, Brian.
Just so happens that magnetic declination is off south by 11 degrees, which would effectively put the sun further north.
Red herring and irrelevant.
No, it ain't,
You
because
can't
that's
even
your
answer a
excuse.
simple question.
elephant.
Pick a city and a day of the
Right.
year. That's
How
all
am I
we
supposed
ask.
to know where I'm at if I don't have a
Hold
compass?
on, guys. Hold on, guys. 1 second, please. Brian, your screen is loading. Nothing is showing up. Maybe you gotta stop and start sharing again.
Okay.
Blue, how you doing, man? You've been very
Good,
patient.
man.
You've been
Yeah,
very
I
patient
just
waiting
wanted
for
to-
the comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject. I mean, Brian, do you believe the North Star is true north?
No, it's not. I mean, sometimes
No.
it is, sometimes it isn't. It depends on what you're arguing with me about.
Well, I'm asking you, within a degree, is the North Star true north?
Tell me your
Is
argument.
that
I'll
the
tell you
point?
what you think it is.
Well,
But
is that
sorry,
the
Dad.
point? Is that or is that not the point around which all of the stars rotate at night? That's how we get star trails. And the North Star is right in the middle of it. Is it not?
Yeah, all the stars do rotate around it. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Okay. All right. Welcome to
I'm just kidding, go
welcome to the globe, buddy, because that is true north. Now you yourself can figure out what your magnetic declination is. Go out at night when you can see the North Star. Check out your compass and see if the fucker's pointing at it. If it is,
I think that would be
you're along-
perfect.
you're
I've
along
tried
the
that.
Hold on,
Agonic line.
Brian. He's not done yet.
If you're not,
Sorry.
if the compass needle's not pointing at Polaris, you've got a magnetic declination.
Is it
Yeah, I
showing
agree, Blue, but here's my thing: is I
That's
pinned
how
it down a
it's
couple times, and this is what I got. I got that the magnetic field is moving. First, I got that it was 200 miles from Polaris Zenith. Then I got it was 300, and then this year I've got that it's 500 miles. So every time I try and pin it down, the fucking excuse my language, it moves. And what we were referring to earlier, I don't think there's much of a difference in the northern hemisphere as far as between distinction between the globe and flat. It's pretty similar. I think it's below the equator, and even directly below the equator, it's fairly similar. And then when you start getting way out of range of Polaris, and but yeah, I understand what you're saying, though, Blue.
Do you think that the continents are moving? I mean, because essentially what you're saying is that the declination keeps on changing. Why would you use a standard for your measurement of magnetic north where magnetic north moves?
It's been moving. I'm telling you, man.
Right.
According
Well,
to
why
the-
would you use that as your standard when you have a standard of the stars that doesn't move?
I'm trying,
That's
Brian.
it, Brian.
I'm trying, Brian Mavitt.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
off the
That's
screen.
Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
No, Mavitt is on screen. I mean, whenever he's ready to say
Is it,
what he
is
got
it
on screen.
preventing,
Magnetic
is
north.
it preventing now?
Magnetic north moves. It constantly moves.
Is it
The agonic
presenting
line.
now, Jose?
The agonic
Yeah,
line,
it is.
the line where you have no magnetic declination, where true north and magnetic north appear to be the same, used to be right over the top of me. If you go back 20 years, that's what it was. Now I've got about a 4.5 degree magnetic declination because the North Pole's constantly, the geomagnetic pole moves constantly. Right now, it's in northern Canada, way up in northern Canada, up in those island things up there. And it's around, 1,000 miles or so from the geographic North Pole. Yeah, it moves. And depending on where you are, obviously, if they're not sitting on top of each other, you're going to go someplace off that agonic line, any direction you go, and they're not going to line up with each other.
Yeah, we
No
can.
map is made based on magnetic north. That would be just absolutely stupid.
Yeah, I read that
Every
too, man.
map is based on
Hold on,
true.
Lick. Hold on, Lick. Let's go back to this momentarily. Let's get a few minutes, switch a little bit to what Brian Mavitt got. But the last comment before giving it to you, Brian Mavitt, John Rapp says that his magnetic declination is exactly correct in Sydney, Australia, where he is at. We can go back to the topic. Brian Mavitt, I see some kind of rectangular looping flat earth map. Oh, that's not it. What you got in the screen, man?
No, this is dayandnight.com. And it plots just like Stingray's done. This plots exactly the turbo line. That's now. So if anybody's up in the northern hemisphere, like the UK, or they can see the moon, it's actually upside. It's beneath your feet. We can move this on in 10-minute increments, and you can watch the moon go across Australia at the minute.
I can't wait for the
Or we
point.
can jump an hour.
Yeah, I'm bracing myself for the punchline over here.
Yeah,
I was just
It's gonna
saying,
be
what
great.
Gray has done is brilliant, but this mimics exactly what he's done. But we know
how that. Wait a minute, Brian. Brian, really quickly, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think the shadow is that shape?
I don't know, mate.
I do. It's because that is an unwrapping of a spherical projection.
It depends on how you line up however you line up the continents is how you're gonna have to shape that shadow. it's not only one way to do it. There's plenty of ways you could do it. That's the Mercator's way to do it.
Pause there, Brian. So I'm going to line.
Hold on, I'll do it to now. Let me do it to now. Right.
Okay.
That's now. That's this moment in time. You got the moon just off the east of Australia.
How did the sun get from, in the way you progressed it before, how did the sun get from the Pacific Ocean over by America to teleport across the universe to the other side over by Australia?
It goes through portals.
Oh, okay, portals. That makes sense. Good logic.
Wait. How did your globe turn into a cylinder? How did your globe perfectly map out as a damn cylinder?
Well,
you're just doing the same thing. You're making oblongs.
Brian, it doesn't stop lying.
The most accurate layout.
Hold on, wait. He just said I'm lying, dude. That's not a cylinder representation of the Earth. Stingray.
It is. You said it exactly maps out to a cylinder. And that is a lie. There is no 2D simplification of a sphere maps 1-to-1. You can be good with direction, or you can be good with surface area, or you can be good with distance, but not everything.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Now take back that I was lying.
And a cylinder would be curved, wouldn't it, Brian? Brian Leake?
You're being very dishonest, Brian.
What are you talking about? I said that is that's a cylinder representation of the Earth. If you're mapping it to a ball, okay, that would make a cylinder, correct?
That would be curved, wouldn't it, Brian?
Perfectly, and it doesn't.
Now you're being dishonest.
No 2D map maps perfectly because we live on a sphere.
No 2D map maps perfectly because of the vicissitudes of map making and the assumptions that they put into it, be it an AE or a Gleason map or whatever. This Mercator projection is not an accurate representation of reality. The most accurate representation we appear to see is something like AE or Gleason.
Yeah,
they're trying to pin me down and say that's a flat Earth model. And when I didn't post that as a flat Earth model, and then call me dishonest. But what's up, Lemon?
Hey. Lemon, how does the...
I'll take it back, Brian, for the sake of moving on. Leaky, I'll take it back for the sake of moving on. Mabbit, stay there. Can you see that right there? I'm going to...
I'm on this page. Hold on. What am I looking at?
No, I'm going to show you why the shadow is like that. Why it's mapped like that. Why no one's proved timeandday.com wrong. But I'm going to show you why that shadow is that shape. If you have it up there right now, I'll share my screen and we'll see how unwrapping a sphere makes that shape in 2D. Because if we look at my Terminator lines, we see they match up perfectly with time and date. And the only thing that I've done is have parallel light come in and hit a sphere. That's it. So if you look...
So you can make a perfect circle out of that square, can you?
Could it be that not unwrapping your sphere has created this? What about if they've had this and wrapped it around
Do you guys
a sphere?
have any idea what those little multicolored bands surrounding the dark area are?
Multicolored bands around the dark area.
Twilight, I would imagine.
Right there. There are three of them.
It's twilight, I should think.
Well, the outer one is civil twilight, the middle one is nautical twilight, and the inner one is astronomic twilight. Do you know what those are?
They're all twilights.
It has nothing to
Twilight
do
is
with
the
vampires,
period
Brian.
of light mixed with darkness. Evening, the different time evening arrives nautically at sea versus, I don't know, terrestrially or something like that.
Not making stuff up. What is twilight?
The
My
period
belief
of
is
mixed
that's
light
where
and
the sun,
darkness.
well, the sun's light, where the
When the light
turbidity,
can't
turbidity
push through.
affects the sun's,
Evening.
It's where the light can't push
How do you
through.
define the different phases of twilight? For example, the difference between civil and nautical twilight is important for legal reasons. How do you define the moment that it changes from civil to nautical twilight?
School me.
Something to do with the candle.
Why don't you think about sunset, fellas?
School me.
The candle at
I was
30
gonna-
places.
Well,
since-
civil
since
twilight
Lemonbird
means
said
the
that-
sun.
A candle
Civil
at 30
twilight means the
places.
sun has set, but it's less than or equal to 6 degrees below the horizon. That's the center of the sun. Nautical twilight is 6 to 12, and astronomic twilight is 12 to 18 degrees below the horizon. How do you define that on the flat Earth? Because they're very well defined on reality.
How do you measure anything that's below your horizon?
And
Tell me
also,
the
Lemonbird,
exact moment.
since you said that the AE map is an accurate depiction
I
of
would say it's
reality,
beyond.
why don't we see the
He asked
the
us a
sun?
question, Babs. He asked
Tell
us a
me
question.
the exact moment that nautical twilight starts.
I'd have to say
After
our interpretation would be that the sun is beyond the horizon, and the turbidity, it's reached its limit from its throw of light. That's how it'd have to be on if
Give me the
was a
exact
plane.
definition
Ain't
that
that's
allows
how,
me to calculate it to a minute.
if the Earth was a plane, wouldn't that be? I mean, that'd be the necessary explanation, right?
Give me the calculation to allow me to tell to the minute when it starts, because
You
it's
say
important
6
legally.
degrees. If you said 6 degrees, I mean, it'd be law of cosine. But look, here, hold on, Bob.
No,
Bob.
tell me. No,
Hold on.
tell me
real
what
quick.
it is, Brian.
I don't know it exactly. You're gonna have to school me on this. But listen, I heard
I
that.
just did.
I just had a thing last night, since we're talking about all this sun and stuff, that I go up 100 feet and see another sunset in reality. Is that right?
Yes, because
Okay, you're talking about degrees.
the Earth
Okay,
is
now
sphere.
so the sun is 0.54 degrees, correct? That's what we see. And okay, if I go up 100
all right,
feet,
you're trying.
no, you're talking about
Brian. I
degrees.
want to know
and
the
I'm bringing
legal
you to reality.
definition. No, I want to know. I want to know how to define the difference between civil twilight and nautical twilight on the flat
You're
Earth.
gonna teach me that. I've never heard of that in my life. But after that, I want to bring you to reality instead of a model.
Well, go look it up, and then you come back and discuss it.
All right, now let me bring my. Okay, so you just said that yes, we could see another sunset. Okay, at 100 feet, every 100 feet we go up, we see the sunset again. Okay, for the ground to drop half a degree, how high do we have to go on a globe model, Bob?
All right, I gotta quit. Give me 15 seconds. 2 points that I gotta address. This is a beautiful, diverse panel today. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Dude, we have Globers, Flat Earthers, Flip-Floppers, Trolls. We got all kinds of characters over here, and I fucking love it. Thank you for that. And shout out to Neil Constantino. I saw him in the chat box, and he say, Big Blue, he apologizes to you for calling you another name besides yours. So I'm just conveying the message to you. There you go. I did my part.
Well,
Yeah, we all need to be cool with each other. We've been
Hold
hanging
on,
out with
guys.
each other
Hold on, guys. Big Blue, is that a legit apology? Because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it is, and I responded to him in the chat. I appreciate that, Neil. We can keep it. We can keep it civil, I think.
Yeah, that's good. That's the whole idea. You see, I mean, we can troll each other, whatever. Sometimes, we have to realize that, damn, I step over the limit a little bit. So, hey, it's all good, man. It's all about being entertained and having fun and engaging to each other. So, good on everybody today. Carry on, guys. Yeah, I'm listening.
Okay, so can anybody give me a legal and verifiable definition of when each phase of twilight starts and ends on a flat Earth?
I concede. I can't.
Is it something to do with a candle?
Yep, you need a globe for twilight, guys.
No, that's not true. You'd have the part where the sun is visible over the flat plane, and then
tell
when
me
the
how it happens.
sun goes over the flat plane too far away, you can't see the sun, but the
Lemon,
lit
give
zone
me
is
the
still
time.
there.
Tell me how to figure out the time.
Times? I don't know how to
Yep.
calculate the
I
time.
want to know the
You
time.
asked what
I can give you the
flat
time.
Earth quadrant would be, and I was just
You
trying
don't
to
have
tell
one
you
then
with
because you
compressed
can't give
viewing
me a
angle,
time.
making the sun
I'll give
invisible,
you an app.
while the lit zone beyond the sun that is
What angle,
invisible over the
Lemon?
flat plane is still there, and you can still see
Lemon, stop
an area of
talking and
light and
answer
dark.
the question. What angle?
The angle, when it goes
I
beyond
want to know the
22
specific
degrees
angle.
of angular resolution, roughly based off of the surface, the sun disappears and the lit zone is still available to be seen beyond the sun, which is invisible over the flat plane because of compressed viewing angle. That would be the
Stop
definition.
talking out of your ass.
All right, Lemon, you're
Not for an
talking out of your ass
explanation, and
because
I'm
the Rowley
explaining them.
criteria doesn't make things disappear. They make things merge.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
ceiling merges with the floor. The sun is in the ceiling,
No,
it merges with the floor
you'll
just like
still
this
see
one down
it.
the hallway.
You'll still see the light. So what time
Yeah, that's the
does it
twilight.
go from
You can't
civil
see the
to
sun,
nautical
but the lit
twilight? How
zone
do you
beyond the
figure
sun
that
is
out?
still visible.
Lemon, you're just talking. Tell me how you calculate the time it becomes.
I don't know that.
Civil,
I'm just giving you
civil
the general
twilight
principle.
becomes
That's
nautical
it.
twilight.
The compressed viewing angle has made the sun disappear while the lit zone beyond the sun is still visible. That's twilight. You have light and darkness
What's the
at that
angle
period,
between
aka
civil and
twilight
nautical
to light.
twilight, Lemon?
It's just whether or not you're seeing further. You're probably zooming
is
in
the
with like a
angle
scope
between
and still
civil
seeing the
and
sun
nautical
beyond
twilight,
civil
Lemon?
twilight. With enough zoom, you
Lemon.
can bring the sun back and see the sun that is disappeared due to
Lemon,
compressed viewing angle.
you're rambling. What is the
I'm not
angle?
rambling.
just
I'm just
remember, you don't
explaining
have a whole
myself.
clue.
Twilight.
You're badgering, and you're not really absorbing my answer.
You're not answering.
Your answer
What is
is
I
the
am.
angle
You're not
that determines
processing it.
civil versus nautical twilight?
You just zoom in a little bit, and you can bring the sun back in a nautical twilight sense, where it's disappeared from a civil, point where you're on the land terrestrially, and you can't see the sun anymore. Bring back some zoom, and you can see it over the water nautically or whatever. That's probably
What
what
is
it
the
is.
difference between civil and nautical twilight?
Civil sooner, nauticals later.
Not
Let me take a guess.
On it isn't.
Let me take a guess. Okay, one of them is where the sun is really where we're seeing it right there on the horizon when it's actually below the horizon. I think that's how your model would describe a sunset. And so one is when the sun actually sets, and the other one would be when the sun, we see it, but it's not really there. Is that good?
All right.
I need 15
all
seconds.
Twilight, the sun has already gone.
I need
So
15 seconds.
What is the difference between civil and nautical twilight?
I need 15 seconds. This is going to be off topic, but please bear with me. Hold on, just send me $10 via PayPal, and I got it giving a shout out. I don't know how you were able to fit so many profanities in a comment on PayPal, so I'm not going to be able to read it. I'm just going to put it on screen for everybody. Kind regards, Hold On. Thank you very much for your kind words, Hold On. Man, you found a loop in the system, brother. Good on you. Thank you for the support. Carry on, guys. Sorry
So
about
the
that.
sun is set in all twilights. What's the difference between civil twilight and nautical twilight?
Was my guess wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
Jose, put my screen up. Not interested in
Because you said that in one of them you could see the
I'm on
sun. You can't see the sun in twilight. What's the difference between?
Okay, wait. But in your globe, the sun's set, but we're still seeing it though, right? At twilight, we can still see like the top half of it, but it's not really there.
No.
Ain't that how the
There's
globe
no
works?
sun visible in twilight.
All right.
So what's the difference between civil and nautical twilight, Lemon?
For fuck's sake, do we really need to fucking know?
I guess. Brian, you would care to give a guess? I gave a guess.
You're up on screen, Brian.
I don't give a fuck, to tell you the truth.
You posted this picture that has a twilight
said that
zone on it.
civil arrives sooner than nautical or twilight or whatever. I already said that. I don't know what else you want.
I want to know what's different about civil and nautical twilight. What makes them? Why are
You're
they
probably
choosing?
Look it up so you can teach
You're
us
bringing
too.
out a binocular and zooming in on the sun, which is past the angular resolution limit of the civil observer on land without a binocular or something like that. I don't know. You're bringing in a binocular and you can see the sun that appeared to dip below the horizon with enough zoom or something. I don't know.
All right, I've got a video. You might want to watch it.
Brian Mavitt, move to the Daily Boom on Sensor. You sent me two messages on another room, and I get lost on that. Daily Boom on Sensor is where we are.
Sorry.
So the difference is,
But you're up. Your screen is up, Brian. Brian Mavitt. I think.
Yeah, now it's Bob's turn because he said that every 100 feet we can see the sun set again, and but he hadn't answered my question. How high do we have to go in the air to see the horizon dip half a degree? Because that's what would be necessitate seeing the sunset twice. We'd have to go up half a degree. Okay, so what's that height, Bob? Is it 100 feet?
No.
Is it 1,000 feet, Bob?
Brian.
What's the sunset?
Brian, that's the sun. You only have to go up high enough to see a little part of the sun.
Just the upper limb. That's it. You just have to bring the sun back into view. You don't have to see the entire sunset.
But wouldn't we have to go up between like 3,500 and 4,000 feet for a 1 degree dip in the horizon?
But you don't have to see the whole sun, Brian.
Yeah, you just have to see the top
I said for a dip in the horizon. I said for a 1 degree dip in the horizon, wouldn't we have to go up about between 3,500 and 4,000 feet?
Brian Mavitt, I'm afraid to get copyright strike for this. You're playing a very long video with some other content creator, so I don't know. Maybe put some still images or something.
Also, Brian, Matt, this is proving globe Earth. Don't play this if you want to.
It's showing you how they've wrapped it around a globe.
To prove that light is parallel and works, yes, and it doesn't work. It even says in the description, the flat Earth is an archaic, old, ridiculous concept.
Just don't. Hold on.
I can't
Brian
take away from the facts.
Don't play. Whenever skip the ad and put it in pause.
Stop.
But you could share it, but it has to be on pause, and you can skip through the video. You don't play it in real time because that's what hurts the playing. But if you close the stream anyway, Mojo Man, you're sharing the screen. What you got?
Actually, I'm looking for something. So hang on a minute.
It just shows how they can wrap around the ball a flat model.
Yes, and it shows you that the sun would have to be in a quintillion different positions for that to hold true.
Like on a globe, like on a globe, right?
Yeah.
Hold on.
You wrap it to a wait a minute, please. Let me finish, Brian. That's
well,
right.
you're making accusations to us. We're going to take them.
Oh my God, Lee Kid, please. Yeah, Brian, other Brian, Mabbit. When you wrap it to a sphere, it all works because the sun's in one location. That's what.
Okay, so if I'm on one side of the equator, if I'm on the equator and I'm on the North Pole, okay, we're looking in different places according to your. If we're on that bridge.
Hold on, guys. This is important. For fuck's sake. Mojo Man, I don't know if that's the audio coming from you, and we got feedback. Number one. Number two, please don't keep sharing private messages, direct messages.
All right.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't hear you, Jose. But let's go to that flat bridge that we drew, and it's 10 miles each way. Okay. Now, if one of us is in the middle of that bridge, okay, and then there's one on each end. Okay, tell me what angle I'm looking to see a sun. Wouldn't we be looking in different places? Or let me describe it even different and better. If I'm on a beach and you're 500 feet away, and you see the sun right in front of you, and you see a reflection coming right to your feet. So we're looking in different places, right? So in a globe model, the sun would have to be in different places, right?
No,
Brian. My God,
Brian, have you ever heard of perspective?
These things. Sorry, Bob. Go on.
You ever hear of perspective, Brian?
Yeah, I'd like to.
Great. Now, why do you not understand that the reflection of the sun on the surface of the water as you look to it is parallel to the guy 100 feet away from you, but they don't come to the exact same spot?
I do understand that, Bob. I understand that. I do understand, and I understand that in a heliocentric model, it's 93 million miles away and parallel. And I think that we'd see every cloud off in the distance lit up, And I think we'd see a reflection everywhere on the water if it was parallel rays from 93 million miles away. So let me tell you a thing about perspective real quick, Bob. If
I don't think so.
Jesus Christ. Okay. If we're standing on the beach, the ground's not really rising up. You know, the boat on the horizon appears a little higher, and the clouds start coming down. That has to do with perspective, doesn't it? It's even if it is on a ball, that's perspective. The way a hallway compresses, right?
I told you not to talk to me about perspective. I'm really not interested in your thoughts on it.
All right, man.
Okay, I got a comment to read, and this one is, if I'm not mistaken, is Doofus Manfred just sent me a PayPal for $5. Thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate it, brother. And I quote, he says, Lemon, no footage exists of the sun being zoomed back up over the horizon. Footage does exist which shows someone reducing the glare as they zoom in. This is not evidence to support your claim. And Jose, good show. Thank you very much. The office appreciate that, brother.
That's not true. You see the sun flattening into the surface, and then you zoom in and it separates from the surface and appears to be above the surface again. So people do, on some level, zoom in and bring the sun back. That appears to have gone below the supposed fake Earth curvature. So I
Show
think
us one
The
example,
sun
please.
doesn't flatten into the surface, you moron.
hold on.
Yes, it
Why
does.
can we videotape it and watch it go all the way down with no change in angular size?
Yup,
We see it change with a filter and without one. We're covered on that as well.
Without the filter or with the filter, there is no change in angular size, period.
People do pixel by
claim-
pixel
Yeah, there is
analysis.
sundog, buddy. Sundog.
Pixel size.
I think a better question to ask, though, is according to perspective, the horizon is the vanishing point. So if we see sunsets at the horizon, wouldn't you expect the sun to be not perceivable since it's at the vanishing point, but we still see it during a sunset?
Only if you're at the perfect vanishing point height for the object. As you know, Babs, you have to have half of the object above the level of the eyes and half of the object below the level of the eyes for that to happen, where you have equal room on all sides of the vanishing point of the object. Since you're too close to the flat surface, that is not the case. You have an uneven visual field, and objects that are way too tall or way too big, like the sun, mountains, buildings, whatever, are going to tend to set.
Right, so if the horizon is not the vanishing point, what is it then?
It is the vanishing point for the height of your zone of vision. You're 6 feet off the ground, Babs. So you have a 6-foot zone of vision that will reach a vanishing point, yes. But the sun, which is way taller and way bigger, needs a further vanishing point than what can be accommodated by your eye. So it sets behind the vanishing point for the visual zone in the foreground for your height.
No.
Okay, so how high would you have to be to actually see the sun shrink down in angular size?
As I said, half of it has to be above the level of the eyes, half of it below the level of the eyes at the very least, whatever height that is. If it's 3,000 miles high up, ideally you need to levitate up 3,000 miles into the air or whatever. Something.
Yeah, but let me answer that. In reality, we only have to go up 100 feet to watch the sun set, and then once it sets, we can go up another 100 feet and watch it set. But on a globe model, we'd have to go up about 3,600 feet to see a 1 degree change with the horizon. So, but we're talking, so you got to specify whether you're asking about reality or your model, because they're not the same.
So, Brian,
So
just really
basically, you have the sun, and you have the lit zone beyond the sun. The sun will disappear, but the lit zone beyond the sun is still visible. You have twilight. You zoom in, you can see the sun again. Maybe that's from civil to nautical to astronomical or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah,
So
that's
Lemon,
why we use solar filters.
Yeah, so Lemon, I'd like to show you my sphere model that works 100% of the time, and if you don't try and screw around with magnetic declination and use true direction, it works 100% of the time, all the time. And all we have to do is rotate the sphere, and it predicts the path of the sun, everything perfectly, never changes angular size, just as we see in reality. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm actually having a hard time doing it, is I'm going to, on my flat Earth model, plot out day and night as we see it in reality. and you're going to explain to me how a sun much further away than is in dark illuminates the entirety of an Arctic region based on the season.
Well, look, you just said earlier, okay, if there's a guy on the equator, each side of the globe, and one at the North Pole, and 100 million in between, and we're looking at them. If everybody's looking up at the sun directly or up, everybody, if I'm up in the air looking at them all, they're all looking in different directions, right?
No, on a sphere, they're all looking in the same fucking direction, Brian.
They're all looking straight up, okay?
No, they're all looking at the sun, wherever that is.
Okay, and they're all seeing a little local spot.
No, they're all seeing a billion-mile away star. A million.
Okay, that's a big assumption. Go ahead. That's a big assumption.
No, it's not. I've tested it. I've gone outside. I've tested it. You can do it anywhere on the planet and test it. It is so apparent. You can tell. I'll show you again, Brian. It even predicted. Or this, you can even use it.
I know. You say because of parallel rays.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, Stingray. You're going on and on, but you say because of the parallel rays that that's your explanation. Okay, now, how come I can go up 100 feet and see another sunrise? If it's parallel rays, I have to go up 3,000.
No, Brian. This is your basic.
Hold on, let me finish. In reality, I can go up 100 feet over and over and keep watching the sunset. So your parallel rays are finished, bro. I'm talking reality, not a model.
So, the issue is your complete childlike understanding of and spatial awareness. The sun is the problem with flat Earth is this. You try and apply a planet size, planet scale, spherical heliocentric model and trying to put it on a dinner plate. That's what you're trying to do. And you're saying,
you said my childlike understanding.
And we agree with you. There's no fucking way it will work. But if you leave it alone and understand the model, there's not one thing that fails. Your misunderstanding is your misunderstanding. This model here, all the light coming in from that sun. Are you viewing my screen, by the way? Brian? Leaky?
Okay.
You are being shared for YouTube.
Leaky? I want to make sure you're viewing it because otherwise you
okay,
can't.
You didn't have to do low blows talking about childlike understanding. I understand your claims. I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to compare your claims with reality. Okay, I understand that you mapped out your ball according to where the sun was at. That's how we made the latitude.
No,
I understand all that. So for you to say childlike understanding, dude, is below the belt, bro. And then for you to interrupt, just that one little thing.
You just said something that was utterly ludicrous. I mapped it out due to where the sun is. I didn't.
I asked you earlier what the equator is. Okay, on your ball, what is the equator?
A circle, Brian.
Yeah, but what does it represent?
A circle, Brian. It's part of this sphere that I've got here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes, you
want to tell me what this equator represents?
Can you see it?
Yes or no?
Area where the sun is directly overhead.
No.
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth, Lemon. It's like pulling teeth to get them to acknowledge anything, dude.
Listen. The equator is not where the sun is directly over. That's a flat fucking Earth. We are on a sphere that is tilted. Do you think the equator here, look at this. This viewpoint here is just off the coast of Africa. It is at 0, 0. This is what it is. And this is on the equator at the moment. Now, guess what?
I didn't tell you what it was. I asked you what it was,
Brian. Listen, Brian. In this season, that blue line is pointed at the sun. Do you think that is directly overhead? No, it fucking isn't.
Answer a question, dude, and please don't quit interrupting so much, dude. Just calm down a little bit. Look, how would you know if you were at the equator or not? If you didn't have nothing except your glasses and your Nikes and your own self, how would you know if you were at the equator or not? If you had a calendar?
I wouldn't need a calendar. I'd just look at star trails. I'd map stars.
Okay, in the daytime?
I'd be pretty screwed.
Okay, but if you stood there long enough, hold on. If you stood there long enough, though, you could pretty much.
Brian, let me ask you another question.
Right? You could make a model.
Brian, please let me ask you a question. I don't know what time it is, and I don't know what month it is.
No, you got a calendar.
Oh, I have got a calendar, and I know what. So I know what month it is.
Yeah, sure.
Well, if I know what month it is, then I know what angle the sun would be at based on. Well,
based on what? No. Based on what?
So if we're in December,
answer that. Based on your model.
No,
because that's how the model was made, bud. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying that's how it was created.
No.
Okay. I gave you ways where I don't agree with it, but it's because.
So wait a minute, Brian. Let me ask you a really quick question. Based on true direction, don't go with this fucking big load of iron underneath and disproportionate under the ground that causes magnetic fluctuations. Based on true direction, do you think the model that I've got on screen now fails to predict anything about our reality given Terminator lines, or give or take, like, let's say 50 miles, because I'm now, thanks to Bob, going to start putting in all the different Terminator lines. But do you think it fails to predict the path of the sun through my sky and keep it the same size?
I say it's pretty good, man. It's getting better and better. No. You keep asking me questions and then fucking cutting me off. Good God, dude. Okay, let me answer. I think it's getting better and better. It's pretty. It's pretty damn accurate. And I would say that right now the best is probably GPS Google Earth, which is based on a Mercator cylinder map.
So let me ask this question again, Brian. Do you think it exactly maps out, give or take half a degree, the path of the sun through the sky for anyone in our existence on this earth?
Now, I would say out in the oceans, I'd say that there's obvious flaws out in the middle of the oceans. I'd say where land is, I'd say it's pretty damn accurate. I'd say most of the flat earthers in this world are in the southern hemisphere. I'd say that in the northern hemisphere, down to a little bit past the equator, it'd be about the same on a flat earth. And I'd also say that most of the flat earthers in this world are in the southern hemisphere, just so you know.
Awesome. I'm glad you said that, Brian, because right now I'm going to bring up a flat earth with the sun on it. And I've got an observer on it. And you're going to tell me where the shit is going to match the profile of the sun that I see outside my house every day. Because I've worked it out. It never matches it, but the closest it will get, I'm going to show you. And it's comical.
What do you mean it doesn't match? Hold on. I can show you an app where if everywhere the sun is at on the flat earth is noon for you, and it works all year round, and it shows winter, summer, Capricorn. Okay. If you want to get technical about the angles and stuff, now we have to go down south and start pulling tape measures and talk about lines of declination and what direction we're really facing and all this shit and perspective. And like we know exactly what's going on in the heavens when we really, you could claim, I agree that your model works pretty damn good. I'd say if there's the major flaws would have to be out in the oceans, man, but it wouldn't be impossible to map a cylinder and call it a globe.
So can you say, no, I've really tried to make this work, Ryan, I really have. Now, the interesting thing that you hear from the flat earth community is we don't have a model, but they say the earth is flat. The interesting thing about saying it's flat, that's actually something that is testable. How is it testable, I hear you say? Well, in a computer, we can model flat. We can make the sun any size we want at any elevation, taking any path. And we can do this 1,000,000 times for every square mile on a flat earth. Does it even matter where continents are? I can look at where the sun matches my position outside. And do you know the closest it matches my position outside, Brian, is when I move the observer from where I am right now to well outside the circle of the flat earth. It never gets down to the horizon. It never gets down to the horizon, but that's the closest that it matches my reality outside.
But you're forgetting about angular resolution, the ceiling ramping into the floor, the two zones smashing together, and making a line past which you can't resolve what's beyond. You need to get off the surface to get more resolution.
Okay. So resolution, as in the vertical and horizontal detail I can vary that to be amazingly big or amazingly small because that's just pixels. So the interesting thing here is I can shove a lot more pixels to it. It's never going to get down. It really isn't. Please go away and understand these concepts. Please.
People demonstrate bottom-up abstraction and show that the proof of concept is there. You're forgetting about a key concept, which is making your model meaningless. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me say something, Stingray. Stingray, let me respond. You started to say earlier when I asked you how you'd know you were at the equator, if you had a calendar, and you was about to say, by looking at the model. You just caught yourself, okay? But now what I'm asking you, I'm holding you to task, okay? I admit I don't have a perfect model, okay? We got a decent model, okay? And you could argue that it's better than the globe in some aspects, okay? But my point would be, is I'm still waiting on an explanation with your necessary parallel sun rays. How come every 100 feet I could watch the sunset again? You said it'd be a pixel. Are you claiming that the sun is 1 pixel in the sky? Because you done agreed that it's 0.54 degrees according to our view, and we only have to go up 100 feet to watch it set over and over. 100 feet.
I'd like to address that for 1 second.
Yeah,
You say that you only have to go up 6 feet or 100 feet to see it again. That won't bring the whole sun back. That will bring back a fraction of the sun.
Okay, tell me what fraction, since you're going to make that claim. What fraction?
It will not.
If you get higher, you will see the sun again once you have wider viewing angles from a flat Earth perspective.
Not 100 feet, though.
He just made the claim. Okay, what is it? If you want to change your claim, this is a globe argument. I just watched the video last night.
Brian, if the Earth were flat, you would see the sun the entire time. It would not set.
You've already made that clear. Okay, you think if the Earth was flat, there'd be a horizon?
Not really.
No.
Okay, so
there's be a horizon. Otherwise, you'd be saying that it would be all sky or all ground. There's got to be a place where the sky and the ground meet, aka a horizon over a flat surface.
Exactly. I want to ask you, which would go on forever, the sky or the ground?
Full size.
No, I want to know which would it be that goes on forever. Okay, so where we don't see the ground and the sky meet. Would it be the sky that fills the whole screen, or would it be the ground that fills the whole screen?
It would be there would be a horizon. It would disappear into a fog.
Okay, it would disappear in the middle, right?
It would not be
close to it, right?
Horizon, it would be down.
It wouldn't be a sharp line, as we say. It would be hazy.
That would
just
be
like we see in
incorrect.
reality.
That's
It'd be
incorrect
hazy. Like we
because whenever
see
you
in reality.
That's not
Brian,
correct.
in reality,
No, we don't see that.
In reality, the sun is observed setting full angular size. That is impossible on a flat plane.
What you guys are saying
100%
is incorrect.
Impossible.
Because
We
when
can
you look at a
show you
forest,
examples of the sun disappearing off into the haze. Okay, it only takes one to show you that it's not going down.
Just the other way around. You want to use a photo of the sun disappearing.
This is why we say y'all worship the sun, dude.
The solar filter, which means you're viewing it through atmospheric distortion. If you remove that atmospheric distortion and shoot the sun without it, you can see it set full angular size.
How the hell do you know what we see without an atmosphere, dude? You make claims.
You have been debunked.
You just said there wouldn't be a horizon on a flat Earth, then you changed your mind and said there would. Now you're saying what we'd see without a freaking damn atmosphere. How do you know what we'd see without an atmosphere, man? Nobody knows exactly what we'd see way off in the distance. What we see when we get up about over 300 feet is a blur at the horizon.
The thing is, you're appealing to unrealistic conditions, and your solar filter gives different sizes of the sun depending on which filter you use. We don't even know what the solar filter is filtering out. How do we even know that we're seeing the solid picture of the sun versus the glare off of the firmament, the atmosphere, the lens? There's just too many variables here, gentlemen. Let's just go.
I would definitely like to see
with or without the filter.
What you don't understand is that
One
the
of the best
sun cannot
understood
set
things
below
we've
the
got, man.
plane on a flat Earth. Period.
Yeah, I'd like to see an evidence of different solar filters giving a different angular size for the sun.
Okay, how about a sun dog? How about a sun dog when you see two little suns and a big sun in the middle filtered? Okay, so you act like it's all solar filter when there's 3 suns during a sun dog, and you can see a medium size and 2 little ones during a sun dog which shows it's apparent, bro. Y'all act like y'all know everything.
Using a solar filter?
Look, just because it doesn't work in your mind on a flat Earth doesn't mean there is not a reasonable explanation
But the
for it. At least.
solar filter was basically moving the goalpost from the globers. We show that the sun appears to dip, change in angular size. Then you're like, oh, we're going to move the goalpost and say, you know, you need to use a solar filter. So you guys are just
the thing
moving
is
the goalpost, and we showed
the thing is that your
size
footage
with a filter and without.
Lemon, the footage that you presented, Lemon, the footage that you presented earlier, I had a rebuttal ready for that before you even posted it. Your footage shows the glare of the sun changing as it's setting. The exposure of that sun, the light from the sun, is blowing out that sensor, and that sensor is set to a fixed exposure setting instead of auto exposure, and is allowing that sun to appear to shrink because the glare is shrinking.
So you're appealing the glare, making the sun appear to separate from the surface once you zoom into the sun, which appears to be going beyond the horizon. That's fine. The thing is, we've shown change in angular size with a filter and without one. When Phuket World put the filter on and showed that there was a pixel by pixel change of the sun throughout the day, you guys said, oh, he's using some sort of cheap filter or something like that. Enough moving the goalpost. It changes with a filter and without one.
I got one better than that.
Actually, the explanation when that video came out was that there was
hold on.
that
They
the
say when the sun is
as
setting,
it gets
it's not
closer
really
to the
there.
horizon, does shrink vertically due to looming in our atmosphere. That's part
Don't you
of
see when the sun is
globe
setting, it's
model.
not really there. It's already set by a half a degree. So you're sitting there looking at something that's not even there through a solar filter, trying to tell me the size of it. Doesn't that sound kind of insane?
It doesn't really, because in our model, looming is part of.
In size. It
So
doesn't.
you're watching a
shrink because it
sunset
goes
that's
off
not
into
even
the
there through a solar filter and telling me how it would work or wouldn't work on a
not
flat
even
Earth.
Okay, in our
And
atmosphere.
you want to claim it goes off into the distance and disappears like a dot. Who's the moron?
In our
I'm
atmosphere,
not throwing
in our
shots today,
atmosphere,
man.
the one that's
I'm trying to keep
organized
it
with the
civil.
highest density below. Oh my goodness! In our atmosphere, the atmosphere that we breathe, the stuff that we are living in, that stuff is organized such that the highest density is below and is consistent 20 feet AGL or more to be in that kind of organization, which causes looming, lights bending downward, making distant objects appear higher. That's if you're going to say that the model says that that's what's going on. Well, reality agrees with that.
So now you get to a field of refraction and atmospherics. Okay, then perhaps the horizon is nothing more than a refraction atmospheric phenomenon, and the sun is actually over the flat surface, and you just can't make it out anymore. Okay.
Okay, but the problem is, as I just mentioned, our atmosphere is organized such that the highest density is below in the vastly common case. That causes looming. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Oh.
So you're saying that light refracts toward the denser medium, and that allows us to see further than we would over, a globe. At that point, you could just invoke any amount of refraction to pad your model and make it work when it's possibly, just a defunct model.
I just want to say,
I don't ever actually pad anything out.
I need to say it. A big, massive, enormous thank you for all the support today. Still, we get it steady, around 50 people watching since the first, maybe half an hour into the show. We already had 50 watching. It's been a few hours, steady audience, beautiful participation in the chat box, massive diversity over here on voice chat. Very good, very good. I'm very happy with everybody, and thank you everybody for your support via PayPal. Big time.
Yeah, they came to see me, Jose.
Yeah, and Earth is Life is hot miking over there. I don't know why. Yeah, Babs, you did great, man. Anything with festivities in the title or Christmas on the title, always do really well. So,
Yeah,
and
guaranteed views.
big excellent work. Doing great with your graphics and stuff. Always very, very appreciated, brother.
I'll have to go back and listen to what Babs had to say. I enjoyed the last time when you were talking about the Bevians. So,
shout out to B-Ball.
Yep.
Well, Stingray, this is a nice model that you have, but you're forgetting about how the ceiling ramps into the floor and makes a line. So you're going to need to limit the number of pixels that you put into that image somehow with your model. I don't know any of this stuff. This is just general criticism in general. And then at that point, you're going to get a sun that sets. I don't know if you could set the viewer's eye line at the surface and say, we're going to fit this much pixels of resolution in here when the ceiling ramps down and the floor ramps up or whatever in your model. But once you do that or set up that condition or whatever in your computer model, which may or may not represent reality, you should see the sun set bottom first.
Awesome. Get you. So the interesting thing here, Lemon, is I can actually do exactly what you just said. So I can say that, you know, it's going to be 100 pixels or something. We can assign it. And I can actually render it 100 pixels. But the interesting thing about 100 pixels is it doesn't get this object closer to the floor. It really doesn't. And the fact that you think that is just it's absolutely amazing.
Did you set the eye level of the observer for 6 feet?
Yes, this is well, actually, this is 100 foot high observer.
Okay, how about 6 feet?
It wouldn't matter. It's never. You see, the thing is, you see this
to 6 feet.
Yeah.
You have the model right here. Can you set it to 6 feet?
Yes, but you see this blue line
set
here.
It to 6 feet right now.
Just really quickly, let me just show you this. I know it's painful, but you see this blue line here. This
as
blue
long as
line
we get to go back to 6 feet, I just don't want you bullshitting past my point. I would like to go back to 6 feet later, but please continue.
Can you tell me anything in reality that doesn't drop off into the horizon in the distance? Anything? Reality.
Lemon, that's dead on the floor now. It's not even 6 foot. Now, the interesting, what I want to point out to you, Lemon, is this blue line here shows the angle to the sun on a flat Earth. That angle to the sun from the ground is not going, we can work this out. You can do this in a basic sense. It's never going to go negative as long as the sun is above the Earth. That's it. Never, ever negative. It doesn't matter how many pixels we use. I could use.
What if everybody sees their own sun? What if everybody sees their own sun? Just throwing that out there.
Oh no!
What if everybody sees their own clouds lit up? What if everybody sees their own reflection to their feet? What if it's like a rainbow?
Well,
what if the
honestly, Brian, we'd never be able to correlate our realities if that were the case.
It's never, no way possible. I'm just trying to throw examples of like I understand what your model
possibility, but we appear to see more or less the same daylight, Brian. So I think people would say we see more or less the same sun, even if it's some sort of personal rainbow effect or something like that. We all appear to be seeing more or less the same.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So we all see a sun in either model that we're looking up in different places, man.
But why does it always have to be what if? Like
when he says something's impossible, I just want to start scattergunning fucking possibilities at him. Like we understand your model and we understand what you're saying, and you won't even try and you go as far as saying there wouldn't even be a horizon on the flat Earth. Like all there'd be is sky in our vision. But when you won't even admit that the ground rises up and the clouds drop down due to perspective, like we see in a hallway. You won't admit it. You won't get into reality. You're stuck in a model.
Hey, hold on. There would be a horizon, but it would be a hell of a lot farther away than we normally see, and it would just fade off into you wouldn't see
our visibility for the day would dictate where that horizon would be.
That doesn't match what we see in artistic renditions or even in pictures. Earth is life. Whenever we see a forest going into the distance, you see the trees appear to compress, get closer and closer together, and make a line. So based off of what we see in actual visual perspective, we see lines appear to merge, converge, and you would expect the tendency to be a sharper, crisper, more compressed, more flattened line.
We'll just
over
address
water is a place to see it. So we would see a lot farther over water if it was going off into this over a flat Earth. It would be a lot farther away.
We do. The thing is, the sun needs a further vanishing point than what can be accommodated by your eyes, and so it appears to set bottom first because you're too low to the ground.
No, we wouldn't see horizons forming in between us and objects.
Yes. I've got a question for Lemon. Lemon,
Yes.
Do you think parallel lines diverge? Yes or no?
Parallel lines never meet.
No, parallel lines do converge. They will meet, but they not in
perspective,
digital
they
reality.
would appear to. In perspective, they would appear to. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. Will they ever diverge after meeting?
Diverge after meeting? No.
Yeah. No. That's
never meet.
Yeah, that's fine. So they'll never diverge after meeting due to perspective. So exactly, if we look at train tracks,
especially since they didn't meet in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. But the train tracks go away and they get smaller, smaller, smaller. Never do they kind of inverse and then get bigger, 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 bigger. Now,
correct.
Now, the interesting thing about that as a logical argument is, if I'm 6 foot high and I have an object that's also 6 foot high, is it fair to assume that if it goes away from me on this lovely, flat, beautiful Earth, that it's always going to stay center line in my vision, correct? All the way to the vanishing point. The ground comes up, the sky goes down, all the way to the vanishing point. You with me so far?
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. What about if that box is below my vision on the ground? It's going to ramp up with the ground to the center. It's always going to be at the center, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Now let's say I've got a sun 1,000 miles high. Under what reality do you think that's going to get down to the ground? And then below it?
Basically, Life is Short went over this an hour and 30 minutes into his award-winning video on perspective. Basically, you see from the level of the eyes up to the level of the eyes down in paired angle packets. Basically, you have a bunch of compressed angle packets of vision from the level of the eyes down that are not quite pairing properly with the angle packets that your eye sees from the angle of the eye, of the level of the eyes up. Because of this asymmetrical pairing, stuff in the top is going to tend to disappear bottom first if it's really tall and or really high up in the sky. You need to fast forward to it an hour and 30 minutes to it in this video to go over the explanation. It goes over all that.
Where does Life is Short get his information from?
Logic, reason, experimentation, and pretty damn good theory of optics.
Yeah, he makes it up. He makes it up.
Well, this is what people have to do to solve this problem. You have myopic experts who don't, frankly, know how to think about the problem properly. They need to drop their defunct paradigm and take on new glasses, some pun intended, to get this problem properly solved. I'm sorry. Just because you're an expert doesn't mean that you know shit about solving the problem properly. I'm sorry. Sometimes your paradigm is so fucked up, you need to drop your paradigm for something else.
What award did he win?
Lemon, my statement here, though, is this flat Earth. I've just put in the clouds, which are above the observer, by quite a margin, obviously. And they vanish off to the distance. But this sun is never going to be below the clouds, ever. Yet that's what we see in reality. Now, you can invent anything you want to explain that. Any words, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely anything. And all these items that come together, and you can call in another flat earther, what's his name, Life is Short, whatever. And he can fuck up like lens use and all that kind of stuff. And it's fantastic. But hold on. That's I was almost at the end, Brian. Thank you.
Monologue forever, but you made your point.
Nearly done, Brian. Nearly done, Brian. But the interesting thing is, in the globe model, all I have to do is create a sphere that bends 1 degree over 69 miles and rotate it, and everything works. I'm not saying
you have to pad your model with refraction, and you have to make up curvature that isn't there.
Nearly done. I'm literally.
No, you're not. You're never going to finish.
I'm already done.
2 sentences away. 2 sentences away. Seriously. So it never fails, always works, and is the simplest solution. We can use it for predictions. Completely in contradiction to flat Earth.
Except you have to pad it with refraction.
Now,
do you even have refraction built into this model, Stingray?
Oh God,
no! Wouldn't there have to be some sort of refraction? But hold on, y'all say the sun goes beneath our feet. The horizon itself is looks above our feet. Of any boat on the horizon, we're looking out at it. It appears to be higher than us. So the sun never goes toward our feet. Apparently, but the point is, hold on. If the Earth was flat, wouldn't there have to be sort of refraction on, to make the for the sun to work out? Wouldn't there have to be some kind of refraction?
Right, can we just agree? Can we just agree that this model that Stingray has does not match reality?
The globe model necessitates refraction in several ways. Okay, hold on. Wouldn't the flat Earth necessitate refraction to explain some shit? Wouldn't it? I mean, can we be honest about that?
So,
here,
standard atmospheric refraction, like I think Gary said, bends light downwards, which causes things to rise up in our vision.
I'm not asking how it happens. I'm saying, wouldn't there be an explanation there?
I was about to answer, which means a flat surface, given what we know about light, would present as a concave Earth.
Yeah, there'd have to be explanations. The same way when y'all shit doesn't work, you have explanations. There's refraction, okay? The globe model necessitates refraction. Okay, so does the flat Earth.
It's included because that's what we measure to exist in our atmosphere.
Does it not?
That's only for precision. His model, he said, was within about 7 minutes or a half a degree.
Earlier he was saying that
his answer
earlier he was talking about a solar filter on the horizon.
You're rude.
Yeah, sorry, man. Go ahead.
He is within a half a degree with his with all of his observations. That's pretty good compared to the flat Earth, where he's off by 40 degrees, 50 degrees.
I'd like to know when it doesn't work. When does our model not work?
Oh, well, earlier when he was
when you're
swearing by
too far over a hump of Earth curve, when you're seeing way too far than what the globe would dictate with a straight line of sight, you have to bend the line of sight with refraction, essentially, or use some sort of refraction, lift the image over the ball.
Yeah, that's predicted. We can predict that.
So yes.
There would be a hump of Earth curve on a ball. There would be a hump relative to the cord going from your feet to the foot of whatever you're observing. That would be a hump. There would be a hump relative to the cord.
If he wants to use the word hump, he's going to have to use.
I was just trying to say real quick, man.
Jesus Christ!
If you get my one more point out, man.
Hold on a second, just 1 second. He's allowed to use the word hump if he wants to, if we all agree that what he actually means is sagitta over a chord.
Yeah, call it what you want. It's still a hump. God damn it, man. Let me make this 1 point real quick and I'll back off, Lemon. Earlier, they're swearing by a solar filter and sizes when in their model, the sun is, when we're seeing it on the horizon, it's not really there, okay? So doesn't the globe necessitate refraction? And is your solar filter a be-all, end-all argument? Are we not looking at something that's not really there?
Brian, the point is that the fact that we observe the sun go below the horizon, regardless of solar filter or not, wouldn't happen on a flat Earth, Brian.
It doesn't go below our feet, though, does it?
Yes.
When we see the horizon, we see it up above. When we see a boat on the horizon, it looks like it's up above us. You've been to the beach? You live in Hawaii.
Question, Brian. Is the horizon at eye level? Yes or no?
The horizon is apparently at eye level.
Okay, so when the
measure deviation, how you get the horizon, according to NASA, disappears a little over a mile in elevation.
Well,
it's no longer distinguishable.
We're not talking about NASA.
Predict on a flat Earth, just like the flat Earth predicts.
Okay,
it would be toward the level of the eyes.
If the horizon is either at or below eye level, how is the sun touching something that's at or below eye level?
It only appears to because of all of these compressed viewing angles. Eventually, everything's too dang compressed because you're too close to the ground, and your eye simply drops the image. That's it. It no longer interprets the image as a 2D image. That's all.
Wrong.
Right.
So how far is the light being bent in order to make the sun touch the horizon? How many degrees?
The light isn't being bent. It's just too compressed. Eventually, if you get too close to the surface, anything will appear falsely to go beyond the horizon that forms in the foreground. You have a horizon forming in the foreground for your height off the surface.
How is it getting closer to the surface? if it's not lowering in altitude.
It's
not
just
even
like looking
really
down the
there,
hallway,
right?
Jose. The hallway has a ceiling over you that appears to ramp down, even though the ceiling is not actually getting closer to you. Anything outside, like the sun, that stays at a constant elevation, like the ceiling of that hallway, will have the same behavior, same
But
conditions, same behavior.
the size will change dramatically, and that doesn't happen in reality.
And
You're asking for a dramatic size change, but it would tend to preserve its size, even though we've shown it change its size with a filter or without one. It would tend to preserve its size.
when you
No,
keep
why would
bringing
the size change when it never gets closer than about 4,000 miles?
the ceiling is
It's
never going to
always
go.
it's always within 4,000 to 6,000 miles of us. Why would
If
it
it's
change size?
dude,
Wait.
because if it's that height, it will never touch it will always be seen from all over the world at all times. It will never set. It will never touch the horizon.
Wait,
It will be
Brian,
seen
say
all
that
over the
again?
place always.
Yeah, it takes some sort of refraction, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So
you,
now
you didn't
refraction is
address my
real.
statement from earlier.
Refraction wasn't real earlier, but now it
I'm
is.
just asking
The
for
thing
both
is,
our
we've
models to
already
work,
shown
we
that
need
this happens with the
refraction.
rainbow that is above the ground. The rainbow is actually a bow that appears to be suspended above the ground. But once you get close to the ground, all of a sudden it looks like an arch that's cut off. It's the same thing with the circuit of the sun. It's a bow that's suspended above the ground. You get too close to the ground, it looks like an arch that's cut off. It's the same deal.
Last point. Because refraction, do we have the same definition of refraction? Refraction is the bending of the light to the denser medium. Is that the definition of refraction you got, Brian? Or are you thinking about something else as refraction?
I'd say refraction is light bending due to a change in medium. I think if all it is air, if all you're going by air, I think it has to change medium, like go through moisture, humidity. It's to change mediums, in my opinion. But yeah, I would say, no, you're right. It would be a different explanation for refraction. But I say, I'm just trying to get somebody, not you, but somebody to be honest and say that both models necessitate refraction to be accurate.
The globe model
necessitate
The
more.
globe model includes refraction because that's what's measured to exist in our atmosphere.
And
It's not necessitating refraction. It's included because that's what's been measured, Brian.
Yeah, that's what's been measured to match your model. But listen to the experts, and they'll say that there's a lot of science needs to be done when it comes to the horizon and distance, atmospheres in the distance and shit. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be said. But I'll say this. I will be honest and say the flat Earth requires more refraction. I think
no, what else?
Right, it requires refraction in the opposite direction than when we know for refraction to exist and do.
But I just
do you think we just make up refraction to suit our needs?
Sun is when y'all bring up filters when you just say you're seeing a sun that's not really even there to try and hold it against me.
Brian, do you think we just make up refraction to suit our needs?
You have explanation to explain them mysteries, but it's not solid set in stone, man. It's your model. It's a good model. Give you that.
Yes, it is, Brian.
But it ain't.
Brian, do you think we just make up refraction to suit our needs?
Reality, it's still just a model.
Brian, why do we
Bobby's
use
asking you a question. Hold on, Bobby's asking Brian a question.
filters?
Bobby's asking Brian a question.
Brian, do you think we just make up refraction to suit our needs? Or do you think we measure the refraction that actually exists?
Okay, if I give you a picture, will you tell me if I give you the data, okay, and the distance, the height, and all that, the temperature? Okay, can you give me the rest? In fact, I'm just going to give you the picture and the temperature. We've been asking that for 6
Brian,
years.
we're not going to do that. We're going to answer the question that I asked you. Do you think we measure refraction or we just make it up?
Here's your answer. Your answer is you predict the temperatures and the gradient and the turbidity due to what you see in the picture, not vice versa.
Brian, answer the question that I gave you. Do we measure refraction or do we make it up to suit our answer?
It's an error bar. You make it fit. You've never predicted nothing with it.
Oh, really? Okay, so if I have a density gradient with the highest density below, you can tell me when the light doesn't bend downwards. Show me that happening. I'm definitely interested in whether or not that can be demonstrated.
I'll give you a piece of reality. I'll show you a time lapse of Skunk Bay, and you see the distant mountains. Who said that? Is that flared data?
Nothing being obstructed, right? I don't see anything being obstructed in that Skunk Bay image. The one that flops.
Oh, look at it again. Okay, look at it again, and even slow it down if you have to. But don't look at the little distant shore. Don't look at the little shore up close in the water going up and down. Look at the mountains of that. The whole video it's went over Glover's heads. It's to show you the mountains in the distance and how they go up extremely and down extremely, where you could barely even see them. They go behind the freaking horizon in a couple points of the day.
Yeah, well, what's the original position then?
It's hilarious that my point got glossed over again, too.
Wait, who said that? What's your name? Who said that? So I could.
Who? Which me?
Yeah, is this Flat Earth Data?
No. Well, you know me as Doofus Manfred.
Okay, Doofus. Okay, got you. God, you sounded like him.
So the only statement I need to make, and I never get addressed, is in a density gradient where the highest density is below. I'm not talking about any dynamic conditions, just when that density gradient is set up such that the highest density is below, light always bends downward. And our atmosphere at 20 feet AGL or more, that is the case, that density gradient is such that the highest density is below. When we make observations from 20 feet or more to something else in the distance that's also 20 feet or more, it's being loomed up 100% of the time. A flat Earth should look concave under those conditions, but we don't see that.
The really sad part about all of this, and I don't mean to be funny, I'm actually showing refraction and density and what it does right now, actually. Here we've got a globe Earth whereby refraction can actually make it look flat. And in extreme cases, even a little bit concave. But predominantly, it will look curved, and that's what we'd expect on a curved Earth. Over here, we have what we would expect on a flat Earth with refraction. It would bend stuff upwards, and that would be variable. Sometimes it would be really upwards, in other words, really concave. Only very, very occasionally will it be only just slightly concave, but it would never be flat, just so that we're aware. And then over here, we've got what would have to happen, as proved by physicists, wrong, that light would have to bend things upward in our atmosphere for flat to present as curved. But that's not that. This is you can test this so easily. It's not even that hard. And the crazy thing is, if flat Earth was actually a thing, you could prove it so well. You could gather so much evidence, it will be overwhelming.
Guys, I need to wrap this up. It's been over 3 hours now, I think. I don't know, I lost track of time because it was fucking entertaining today, man. It was great. So let me do a round of final thoughts, quickly, 30 seconds each, and we'll get out of here. We will begin with Not Brian. Final thoughts.
Great show, man. Are you showing my stream I got going now?
No, I am not, but I can.
Show it, man. I've just put that all together in the video editor.
Yeah, you have, man.
Yeah, great show. Not too much name calling and abuse going on. Really good. I think we made some good progress tonight. I think a few people have had their eyes open. So, all well and we should be getting there. Hopefully, by the end of this year, this will be put to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate you for coming in and hanging in there with us, man. Please, everybody, stay for your final thoughts. Unless somebody has to leave now, raise your hand and you can have the word first. I'm gonna be recording the after show. I mean, like whatever happens for a little bit. If it goes quiet, then I'll stop recording. But I most of the time record the after shows. The Stingray, your final thoughts.
In reality. Interesting. Yeah, if you just share this really quickly, put my screen on. That's cool. Again, this is for all flat earthers, and I'm willing for anybody to help me prove this wrong. but I can just rotate this sphere and it predicts everything that we want with the sun and the Terminator line. So Bob, I'm now going to graduate this a little bit and have all three of them. But it does predict it perfectly. It is never wrong. I can change the day of the month, and I can change the lat long of the observer, this right-hand thing here, and it predicts everything perfectly, not just close, perfectly. It will even predict the fact that if we look from the top and the bottom, it will predict what we see. Counter-rotating star trails just by rotating a globe, having two observers both looking up at opposite ends. This matches reality perfectly. And I ask all flat earthers, please, please work with me and prove it wrong, because I want to be the most famous person on the planet.
Thank you very much, Stingray. Great presentations today. Big boom! The Elmix! The Elmix sent me like $21, $22 on PayPal. The Elmix, thank you very much for your support. Very, very appreciated. In crunch time, right at the end, in the tail end of the show. Thank you, brother. Hold on says, last thoughts. Unfortunately, Mavet didn't learn anything today. Shout out to Hold On. Big Blue, do you got some final thoughts for us?
Yeah, just it's interesting every day to watch the flat Earth die a little bit more, and a little more, and a little more. I don't think we'll be talking about this a year from now either, Brian. I think it'll all be over with long before that. You guys have a good one.
Thank you very much for coming, Big Blue. Appreciate it. C4, you got some final thoughts for us? Or lurking as usual? Look at me waiting on final thoughts. Thank you very much, brother. Do we get Chris Matt? No, we wait to Space Bob is gonna be the one. But we get Crow XC. Final thoughts. You hot mic in, Fred.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So just one thing I want to say regarding the term Brian used, that the refraction is a necessity. So 2 years ago, I made a sun calculator based on my own research. I didn't copy any equation or anything. And I just give it the coordinates, I give it the date, I give it the time in minutes, and it would give me the azimuth and the elevation angle of the sun. And it works perfectly, except for two things: the sunset azimuth and the day length, because those are affected by refraction. So it works like 5 degrees above the horizon from one side to one side. So we have 170 degrees of success without refraction. So refraction is not a necessity. It's only a necessity for accuracy. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Crow XC. And True Blue's final thoughts. True Blue say, why is a Glover the only one trying to model a flat Earth? What in the hell is wrong with the flat earthers? Shout out to True Blue. Gary, Mangary, final thoughts.
Well, I just wanted to address a point Lemon made earlier about our model has refraction just to pad it out. But in our model, terrestrial observations, things in the distance, we don't typically have a need for the angle to change by anything more than 0.1 degrees. Really hardly for any observation. 0.1 degrees is pretty much it. That's a maximum that we typically would ever see. The terrestrial observations, about half a degree, 37 arc minutes. That's it. It's less than 1 degree no matter what. It's not some unlimited, unknowable, and some outrageous refraction figure required to pad anything out. It's just, that's what we measure to exist in our atmosphere. That thing I mentioned about the highest density below, a density gradient, such like that exists in our atmosphere. And we can experimentally verify that such a gradient would bend light downward, and that's what happens in our atmosphere. And things are loomed up under such conditions. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. We got Dr. Bro in the house for final thoughts. Dr.
Yeah,
Bro.
Jose. I'm here. You know, I finished building the armillary sphere today. This is a 2,200-year-old instrument that has its problems. It's based on a geocentric universe. But you know, at its heart, there's a spherical Earth. The sun, the moon, all of the planets go into orbit around that spherical Earth, including going to the underside of it or the opposite side of it. So I think that that really says an awful lot about people that in the 21st century still think the Earth is flat. Basically, if you have a mental age over the age of about 6 and you think the Earth is flat, you need to reassess your life choices. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, Dr. Bro. John Rapp with his final thoughts. Flat Earth Brian's flopping around on the shore looking for the horizon. Thank you, John Rapp. Earth is life. Final thoughts.
What's up, Jose? Good show. What I want to say is I would love for flat earthers to have, to start basically just say admit when you're wrong. Like, I would like Brian to possibly admit when he was wrong about the thing he posted on his video talking about the picture of the day. And now, Brian, I mentioned to you in that video why you were wrong, and you still haven't addressed it. Also, I know Gary's here. Yeah, so after this, I would definitely like to have a discussion with Gary, if he's available, because we definitely have to discuss something about your latest claims of my video. So, anyway, great show, and I'll be here for the after show. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Earth is life. We have Fred the even more magnificent in the house.
Well, I'm sad to say that today I found my microphone and headphones. What a fucking shit show.
Thank you. Very deep thoughts. Appreciate it. Gary C. Final thoughts.
I came in late, so I don't know, but I had a little fun. Not really a good shit show like I like, but thank you.
Thank you very much. It was an epic shit show today, bro. We got Gary. Questionable. Final thoughts.
I am the true Gary. And True Blue spoke too early of the demise of the flat earth. He's completely wrong. This is going to be around for a long time. And by the way, watch my video because I do show things disappearing bottom first with no curvature involved whatsoever. Be sure to subscribe.
If everybody want to see Gary Waibenga's videos, go to, there's a special room called Gary. Gary, do you know that I created a room just for your videos? You can post them and spam them as much as you want. Thank you very much. We got Grubus in the house. I don't know if you want to speak or you just listening, but thank you for joining the Discord. You got some final thoughts for us, Grubus? Not today, I guess. J-Mac, what you got, man?
I'm sorry I missed most of it. I was in a meeting, but thanks, Jose.
Thank you very much. The poll earlier today, my favorite participant today was in last place, Lemonbird. In third place, Brian Mavitt. In second place, Brian Leake. And in first place, none of the above. So none of the above of the two Brians and Lemon. Shout out to the people that voted. Mars Mushrooms, final thoughts.
I think I've had more salad than I've ever wanted to have in my life. I can't take any more. Just salad dressing, the word salad is just driving me crazy. It goes out to you, Lemon.
Good times, good times. Ben Delight say, unfortunately for Flat Earth, it will never be around long enough to come up with a working map. Shout out to Ben Delight. Mojok Man, what you got?
Good afternoon. I'm just got a question for Stingray for afterwards, but essentially this is it. I had heard Brian Leake complaining about the orientation of the true north versus magnetic north, so I decided I'd go to another place on Earth, and I'm looking at Chile, where the daylight hours are about 17 hours a day during the summer solstice down south. and the sun rises almost 43 degrees south of east and west. Rises and sets 43 degrees south of east and west. And I was wondering if Stingray would be able to make that prediction. And there's a declination down there of only 12 degrees, 12.9.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Were you done yet? Go ahead, finish it up, man.
I just had one other thought that is there, that if it's a 16-hour or 17-hour day, the sun should be making its transit all the way back around the world the other direction. It should be, way north of, say, 270, something on the order of 20, 30, 40, 50 degrees west of there, north of there.
Appreciate it, Mojo. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We have the one and only Festivities. Final thoughts?
You're always going to have the flat Earth, as long as the flat Earth is more cognitively resonant with what we see and experience. It looks like we need to look at our warped theory of how perspective works, how light works. I'd probably go with something that's not a string of light going like a streamer from, the object to the eye. I'd probably go with something more like induction, that the medium simply has the ability to present the image to the eye when it's excited with a certain sound, vibration, frequency, or energy pattern. So if light's no longer a streamer that has to bend around the Earth, perhaps that opens up things to be a little flatter if we go with another theory. But as far as I can see, it's flat and motionless.
Thank you very much for coming in, Lemon. Appreciate it. We have in the house Space Pope, aka Babs, aka Chris Matt.
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, the one and only. Yeah, today was a great day. I really enjoyed the feedback I got from all of you. And the truth is that I know that even though we pointed out all of the errors with SC Montreal's argument, he's still going to keep making the same argument. Because SC doesn't really care about what's true. All he cares about is doing this WWE call-out thing on Bev's channel, where he's like, everybody's scared to talk to him, and he can just pretend to be some kind of geometry guru. The truth is, SC doesn't care about learning about the globe. He doesn't want to know what reality is. He just wants to continue to feign ignorance as long as it's beneficial for him. So, although this has been fruitless as far as changing his mind, at least I appreciate the feedback I got from all of you. It was a great show. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you very much. Welcome anytime, man. And I like the way it went, because we started with a, small talk among each other. You got the presentation very dynamic, and that instigated some people to join. And hey, it became this big kind of a shit show at the end, but it was all kinds of fun stuff. Very appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man.
Yeah, good times. And Steve Rorino, final thoughts?
So my final thoughts are that Brian and Lemonbird are not only ignorant, they're intellectually dishonest, because they're not trying to actually learn the truth. They're trying to confirm their bias, and that's not how you do science. You try to debunk your own position. That's how science is done.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Steve Rorino. I really appreciate it. And with that, I want to say, well, you guys. Oh, Earth is Live. What?
No, I was saying I didn't even hear a word he said.
Oh well, you got to drop and rejoin maybe. But he's in. Yeah, all right. I want to thank everybody for coming in and participating on YouTube chat box. Big audience, over 50 people most of the time. Big thank you to everybody over here in the panel that without you, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you very much. I am glad that I am able to provide a platform for people to come in, hang out, and have a little bit of fun and talk to each other. Everybody, please stay safe out there and take care of yourself, take care of your close ones, and go hang out in real life where it matters. And then if you got time, come out and hang out with us. This has been Jose J.G. Gonzalez. Boom! Last question. Is there any evidence for a flat Earth?